less nervous?
Much less.
You had a special feeling.
I feel like my heart is being touched by Christ. See how touched.
Less nervous?
We did it! We did it! I even forgot to unmute the microphone, but we did it! The Philadelphia Eagles have made the playoffs in the most unbelievable circumstances in a game where somehow every player from the LJ brand, we're talking Captain Kravon, we're talking Boston Scott, we're talking Resula Douglas, we're talking everyone, okay, that has been synonymous with the LJ brand, came out swinging today. The Eagles beat the Giants 34-17. Burn the ships is a thing, and we're here to have a party. The Eagles are in the playoffs. They've done it. The job is done. Somehow, this injury-ridden team has made the playoffs. And I still quite can't get my head around exactly how they've done that. It is absolutely remarkable. It has just been the most severely, I think, mesmerising season. In the space of 12 months, we've seen the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. And if you compare this to even, this time last year, where we were going into the playoffs against Chicago, underdogs again. Everyone's thinking, well, what happens next? The team's beat up. There's no Carson Wentz. And now, all of a sudden, that energy's renewed. And Carson Wentz dragged a limping offense over the line. And we're going to get to all of your opinions. We're going to get to all of your thoughts. We're going to have the Discord chatter as usual. But the one thing that I wanted to touch on before that, we've got a whole show to talk Captain Kravon and company. But there's one person that for me deserves a lot of credit here, and that's Carson Wentz. Because in this game, he was without his starting running back, technically Jordan Howard. Then Miles Sanders, who was his starting running back, down he went. So now you're left with, your starting right tackle's gone. No, your starting right guard's gone. Oh, you both wide receivers. Oh, all three wide receivers are gone. My apologies. And then Greg Ward goes down for a bit. There was nothing. There was no offense whatsoever. And Carson Wentz dragged it over the line. Some of the throws he made that game were just absolutely incredible. You could not happy. Sexy Vegans, LJ, subscribe to Gate City Sports Talk. All right, well, I've just given him an inadvertent shout out, so I'll check him out at some point after this game. Brandon Lindermouth is buzzing. We've got, or Lindermouth, I should say. Isaac says, burn the mother loving ships. Captain Kravon, he burned them all down. He stood there with a flamethrower. Billy Hoyle, nice to see you. Hoy Hoy says, I don't know about the wild card playoffs, scared of the Niners and the Seahawks. I personally am a little less scared of the Niners, because there is this stigma about the Seahawks and the Eagles not being able to get past them. Like, I would much rather go against an unknown thinking, right, it's an unknown, they don't know us, let's go punch them in the mouth, than Seattle, who had your number for predominantly, 5 years now. To me, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's Seattle. San Francisco, I should say, just because I think they'd stand more of a mindset chance. Christopher, nice to see you in the chat, says Carson was balling even in the rain. Absolutely. I mean, what a game he had. He is now officially the first quarterback in Eagles history, as I try and move it. It's the other way. Hang on. There we go. Right. First quarterback in Eagles history to throw for 4,000 yards, which is unbelievable. Unbelievable, right? 4,000 yards. Only quarterback in Eagles history to do it. And you look at who he was throwing to, it's remarkable. I think for me, Carson Wentz has shown more in the last month or so of play than we could have ever wanted to see, than, in my opinion, what he proved in 2018. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, he's got to come back from that torn ACL, he's got to be better, or this, that, and the other. I think we've seen more from him this year than we have all of last year, arguably most of 2017. He's come out, faced adversity, gone through anonymous sources, gone through X, Y, Z, gone through a million injuries, and is still rallying that offense down, is still leading that offense, is being the guy to carry that. That is what Seattle have in Russell Wilson. That is what Green Bay have in Aaron Rodgers. That is what Minnesota once had in Sam Bradford. No, I'm kidding. But genuinely, that's what the Eagles want in a franchise quarterback. That's what fans have been begging to see. Wentz to just step up to the plate and say, you know what? I've got this. Don't worry. As long as you've got Carson Wentz, you've got a chance. That's been the only thing, that clutch gene that has been almost missing in a way. And over the last 4 weeks, he has extinguished that. He's absolutely extinguished that. And I'm so happy for him in that regard. It's been an absolutely amazing month or so to watch. 4 wins on the bounce. He's been lightning in the fourth quarter. Although I think he was 3 from 8 today, so not quite as lightning. But he didn't have to be. Absolutely outstanding. And you can see, so Tariq and Offending Africans say yes. So no receiver over 500 yards. Although technically that's a bit because you've got Zach Ertz who's like way over it. So that's why I didn't include that bit at the end. Anthony Allen says, man, I'm so happy I might not sleep tonight. I don't blame you. If you're not sleeping, we're going to be here for around 2 hours or so. It is the last stream, the last post-game stream of 2019. Now, we're guaranteed one more. We're guaranteed one more post-game reaction stream because the Eagles are in the playoffs. But the last regular season stream is here. So we're going to make it a fun one. We might even do a giveaway. We're going to be here a while. I hope you guys are all in for the long haul. I hope you're all strapped yourselves in and you're ready. If you want to get in the Discord server, don't forget, if you go down to the waiting room channel, once you're in there, we can bring you in and we can have a little chat about all things Eagles. So if you want to be a part of this video, of this live stream, get down into that waiting room channel in Discord and we'll get you all involved as soon as we can. Ward is our Edelman. I like that. Immortal Productions said, I like our receiving corps right now. And you know what? I really don't blame you. Like, I think I said this last stream where for me, I genuinely feel like I would not take... If I had the choice right now of saying, all right, you can go into the playoffs with this group or you can hit reset and you can have them all back. Like, not to be that guy. I think in terms of confidence and continuity and playing with a purpose... I think I'd take that. I'd have D-Jax back. I'll take Deshaun Jackson. Alshon Jeffery didn't show me anything this year. Nelson Aguilar didn't show me anything this year. At least nothing more than Greg Ward has. Like, I would happily take a Robert Davis type guy or someone like we saw today. Greg Ward Jr. came out and made a couple of nice catches. Out of nowhere, Deontay Burnett came out and made an amazing catch. Like, it's unbelievable. Do I keep Mike Groh? I genuinely don't know. I promise I'm not just trying to rhyme here. Like I said in the podcast, obviously, on Friday, that I think he genuinely deserves some praise. We've all been very, very quick to shout him down, to give him a little bit of abuse. It's only fair that we do give him a little bit of respect on his name, so to speak. And I think he has actually earned that. You know, the offense over the last month or so has been absolutely brilliant. So fair play. In absence of everything that's going on with all the injuries and all the setbacks, Mike Groh has put together an offense or helped coordinate an offense that is running bizarrely efficiently, and he does deserve a little, not a massive applause, he hasn't done that, but a little, just a little one, little slow clap. I just have to acknowledge the amount of Kravon love in the chat. Jerome Crawford, how are you doing, my guy? Thank you for coming in. Joseph Labello, nice to see you in again. Always wanted Kravon to play more. Oh, so do I. If I had the image of him in a Christmas hat on my computer, I put it on the stream. I've only got it on my phone. But my God, I mean, Captain Kravon, I mean, all I saw, because my live stream, was around 5 seconds back. So I've got NFL Game Pass. It's like 5 seconds slower than the TV version. So all I saw was a Discord message tagging me saying Captain Kravon. And my heart went in my mouth. It was like 4th and 4. My heart was in my mouth and I was like, he's not picked it off, is he? He's not picked. And I saw the pass breakup and I swear, it was like I squealed like a girl, which isn't, you know, any dissimilar from anything in life, really, with a voice this high. But I squealed. I was like, oh my God, that is the best thing. And I think for me, it's the fact that you guys literally flood my Twitter every time he does so. He can walk on a field and go, whoo, cold out here. And you guys will go, oh my God, Captain Kravon, and just like spam me. And I love that. The Boston bus can't be stopped. I love that. Yeah, what a day it was for him as well. 3 touchdowns, the first Eagle to rally to 3 scores since LaShawn McCoy back in 2011 against the New York Jets. So, obviously Jordan Howard did it, but one of them was receiving, so technically not the same. And let's not forget about that big catch. It got called back. Absolutely, Philip. I was gutted at that as well. Also, before we get to I know we've got the opinions coming out. We've got a few people in Discord waiting. But before we get to that, can we just give Matt Pryor some credit here as well? So Brandon Brooks, arguably the best player the Eagles had left on their offense outside of Carson Wentz, went down. All right, gets carted off the field. That's your franchise right guard, the one you've just paid a lot of money. Okay, and in steps Matt Pryor, out of TCU, drafted 2 years ago, 5th round pick. Nothing, he struggled to make the team in the last couple of years. He struggled to cling onto the back end of that 53-man roster. And obviously when you're talking about versatility and stuff, he's someone that did play every spot along that offensive line at TCU. I interviewed him after he was drafted by the Eagles for Philly Sports Network, so on our actual website and not the YouTube channel. And he was telling me, like, the first person to call him up after he was drafted was Halapoulivaati Vaitai, who was his teammate at TCU, and someone that obviously a couple of years ahead of him was like a mentor, was genuinely just raising him along, coaching him at every position, and called him and was like, hey, you're going to love it in Philadelphia, was talking to him about the culture. And when I called him at the time, he was just coming off a gym workout, so I loved the work ethic of it. And he's finally got an opportunity and was an absolute monster as a run blocker. So I was buzzing for Matt Pryor, as someone that, spoke to him a couple times, that is such a down-to-earth guy. Couldn't be happier to see him go out, play alongside his former teammate from TCU. I mean, that's really cool. Like, anytime you get to see that, that's really cool. And he just put on a show. Like, he wasn't perfect, but he went out and made a real impact in terms of run blocking today and helped pave the way for a few of those big-time Boston Scott runs. So I was really happy to see Matt Pryor go out. I think, again, a name that isn't going to get a lot of love today, but someone that should definitely pop up in those same conversations. Our center's the best in the game. Do not disagree with that at all. It's amazing seeing so many of you here as well. David can't find the Discord. Don't worry, man. Let me get you a link for that. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. And I will drag you... Well, not drag you. I'll drag the people down who want to have a little chat. So copy here. We hit paste on here. It should be in the chat now. Ta-da! There you go. There's the Discord link if you join that. I think we've got over 100 people now. I don't know the exact number. Also, if you are new around here and you're thinking, who is this British kid? Why is he talking about the Eagles? Right? Why do I care? Hit subscribe. I promise you won't be... Well, I can't promise, but I hope you won't be disappointed. We have daily Eagles content. We've got This Year in Philadelphia Sports. That comes on New Year's Eve. I've been literally thinking so many ideas about how to do this for a while. I'm so excited to drop that one. Obviously, we're going to have Eagles Film Room coming for this week. And you know it's going to be Captain Kravon. You know it's going to be Boston Scott. We've got a lot of content coming. We would love for you to be part of our community. So if you're not subscribed, just hit that red button and we'll give you a little shout out as well if we know that you have. And obviously, if you want to join the Discord server and get involved in this, that would be amazing. Akeem Foster says, is Nate Garrett a viable linebacker? I think he is. Like, you can safely say he's developed. He's certainly not, I would say, like a guaranteed starter. I wouldn't put all my chips on him straight away. But he's someone that I think, in a pinch, can play. Like, he's proved he can play. There have been some really, really good plays this year. I think he's still among the tackling leaders on this team. I know there was that play against Atlanta, which still makes me salivate, where he makes the interception in the end zone. But then there are other plays where he's a little bit wobbly, a little bit inconsistent, and that can hurt him. So as long as he keeps progressing, that's all that matters to me. Like, that is really all that matters to me. Steve, hey, don't forget my upcoming franchise modes. I know, Matt, I need to talk to you about that. I've got a really good idea I'm going to run by you when we do the big super end of year conversations and stuff. So to keep that idea, I've got someone in mind that I think is going to be really beneficial. D Money Savage. I like that name. That sounds good. I told you he'd be here. He did. He told us we'd be here. Excuse me. Sorry about my voice is going a little bit. But another thing, can we just say, one big laugh at the Dallas Cowboys? Can we just do that for a minute? I mean, we've got someone waiting in the Discord server, so we're going to get them involved in just a second. But can we just say a big well done to Jason Garrett and the Cowboys, because it takes a lot to not win this division, and they somehow did it. So a massive well done. Thank you for giving the Eagles a playoff berth, and we'll go from there, really. I think that's very good. LJ get Jay Fizzle Dizzle. So Jay Fizzle Dizzle is getting he's getting heat now. He wants people are asking for his services and his opinions. I love that. Sidney Jones was locked down. I'm sure we're going to get to that as well. Again, I know we've got a lot of people who are going to probably want to come on and voice their opinions. So we're going to bring the first one on now, which is TG_2bad. Hello. And the microphone's muted. Okay, baby steps. I forget whenever it's a new person. It's okay. We can do this. Believe, trust the process. The microphone's muted. But, alright, so what we're going to do, I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. Whoever this is, your microphone's muted. If you don't unmute it in 5 seconds, I'm going to pretend to be you and put on a fake voice. Alright, that's the deal. So you've got to sort it out. So that's the way we're going to do. But yeah, let's talk Sidney Jones then for a second while we're waiting for this. Sidney Jones, over the last 4... Let's go through his whole season, alright? Comes in and is technically a starter. because Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills are out. Doesn't play that bad. It could be better. It could be worse. It's not awful, but it's not bad. All right? Akeem Foster, thank you for the subscription, my man. You're the real MVP. Then he gets a little bit hurt. Gets some hamstring pain to Sidney Jones. Little bit of pain. And what we see in week 7 is Doug Pederson give a presser and say, yeah, well, not being funny, he's got to play through it. Malcolm Jenkins can play through pain. Why can't Sidney Jones? And then Sidney Jones comes out, lays an egg, hurts his hamstring, and Malcolm Jenkins gives an indirect shot to Sidney Jones, okay? An indirect shot in a post-game presser and says, yeah, we only want you on this team if you're tough, right? I ain't got no time, you can't play cornerback. He then doesn't get any snaps for 6 weeks, all right? Not a single snap for Sidney Jones. And then he comes in and balls out with a clutch pass breaker. 2 weeks later, he does it again. And then today, he comes in, breaks up a pass behind his back, okay? A pass behind his back, and then comes down with a huge interception. If there was anyone on this team that deserved it, it was Sidney Jones. That was absolutely amazing to see. I was so happy we got that sorted. So I believe that the man in TeamSpeak, wow, how old am I? I meant Discord, was David Petty. So we're going to bring David back. David, are you there? Oh, I can hear myself. This is cool.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I got you on the background.
That's it. See, I always wonder how people do that. How are you doing? You okay?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
How are you feeling after the win?
I'm feeling amazing.
Yeah?
Bro, I still can't believe that we're in the playoffs. That's insane.
It's a bit, I mean, if we'd have said this after like week 4 or week 5, yeah, don't worry, it was fine. The team will still make the playoffs.
Yeah, but
it wouldn't have gone well.
Our whole offense is practice squad right now. I just think it's insane that we actually made it. We actually pulled it off. I think it says a lot about our team. Like, man.
It's unreal. It's unreal. I mean, the resiliency they show to come through. And we say this, I mean, the one thing I think that doesn't get harped home enough is genuinely the fact that Doug Pederson and his emotional intelligence, which everyone mocked at the time because, you know, we lost out to Adam Gase back when that was a thing, that Pederson can rally a locker room basically 3 years in a row where they're injury stricken. Yes. And there's always something new. Like, imagine if this was your day job. The first year you go there, like, I don't know, the building catches fire. The second year later, like, someone cheats on your girlfriend that works there. Then the next year you go there and someone else goes. You're like, why do I bother coming to work? And instead, he has just turned that ship around 3 years in a row.
I agree. I also think it has a lot to say about Carson Wentz, too, man. Carson Wentz just came out and just led the team, too. Like, he's coming off of a team that loved Foles, and he's just coming out and he's still playing hard. He's still playing to win, and he loves the team. I swear by anything, listen, teams play better when they love their quarterback. And this team is just rallied around Wentz, and I don't know. I still can't believe we made it.
It's what I think that's genuinely something that, again, doesn't get hit home enough. It's the fact that there is, I can't tell if it's the energy of the younger guys on the practice squad, or like would we have still seen that from an Alshon Jeffery or an Nelson Aguilar, that level of, you know, wanting it a bit more. I mean, like, even with Greg Ward, you know, we talk about that on film rooms and stuff, where he's always wanting to get upfield. Like, he'll catch a ball and immediately turn upfield. He's not just going to sit down or settle or take a tackle. And I think every single one of those young guys is playing with such a chip and a drive and a hunger. Like, Josh Perkins got a touchdown today, you know, like, that was huge. And I think that's probably helping a lot as well.
100%. These practice squads have really rallied around just the team. They're doing something that I don't know. I don't know if another team has done before, but even if just the fact that we made it to the playoffs, I'm just happy with that. I mean, I'd like to see him go farther than that, but I can't believe it.
It's like anything after. It's weird though, isn't it? Because if they hadn't made the playoffs, I think the vibe on this season would have been it's a disappointment and a letdown. Yeah. But now they've made it, it's like, oh my god, it's a miracle. It's there's like no middle ground. But I think it's so deserving.
You know what? I also think it's the underdog mentality of the Eagles. Like, they've always played better when they're underdogs. In the beginning of the season, they were Super Bowl contenders. Everyone was saying, you know, they're going to make it to the playoffs, all that stuff. And then halfway through, everybody's like, you know, the Cowboys are going to make it. And then for us to still rally around and rally, the whole team is just rallying together and still do it.
It's crazy. Like, I'm a little bit, you know, I mean, I know it's a bad comparison, but it reminds me so much of Charlton, like the soccer team I support. It's just decimated by injuries. no hope, but you've got an amazing coach who's just going to rally that team and players that are now leaving it all on the line. Like the defensive line, that's the best performance I've seen from them in about 3 months.
Yeah, they've come together too. I mean, even the last 2-3 games, they've really come together. Ever since that Dolphin loss, they haven't played the same.
Yeah, it's really spurred them on. I think even the secondary, we see it all the time, but it's even the secondary with Resula Douglas wasn't overall great. There was a few flags and a couple of mishaps, gave up a touchdown, but 3 passes defense, like there was a lot of really solid man coverage out there when the ball was like slightly overthrown. And then you've got Captain Cravon, who I'm trying to save that love for as long as I can before I burst. And obviously then Sidney Jones doing bits. Like that's the same core of underdogs that were out there for the Saints game last year. The same group. And it's I think it's just come full circle that we're now back to that same group of like gritty. Nothing's changed for that secondary in a year.
Yeah, no, it really. Even Jalen Mills is out.
Literally.
Yeah, it's just like that all over again. Yep, you're right.
Absolutely. It's unbelievable. Okay, so we're gonna ask again. So if you got someone in mind that you'd like to play out of San Francisco or Seattle?
Listen, everybody in my job is a San Francisco fan. I want the Seahawks to win tonight just so we can go up against them. Just so we can get a chance to prove ourselves, man.
I mean, like, Seattle are fairly beat up as well. That's the thing. People, I mean, I forget that. I mean, Seattle, I think they're without their right tackle. Obviously, just brought back Marshawn Lynch because they've got no running backs. Russell Wilson's been a bit off, I'd say, for the last month or so. So I mean, it's winnable, but I don't know. It's that stigma. It's like I don't want that smoke again.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very interesting. I mean, how far do you think this team can go now?
Oof. I mean, you pulled it off. Somehow we pulled it off last during the playoffs last year. So I don't even know. I don't want to speak negatively about the Eagles, but I also don't want to be like, I don't want to be a little bit overzealous and say they can go all the way.
Yeah.
So listen, just like Pederson, we're always 1-0 this week. That's what we are. We're 1-0 this week. We're gonna keep it going.
We've even got coach talk down to this. I love that. Listen, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. If people want to follow you or get in contact, and so obviously we're all about connecting here. What's your Twitter? Like, if you want to drop or promote anything, if you've got SoundCloud you want to promote, like, you can drop it now.
Nah, man, I'm just here because I love the Eagles and I've been watching you for a long time, man. I like what you're doing, man. I appreciate it from all the way over here in freaking United States, man. I appreciate that.
That means a lot, man. Thank you so much for all the support and for taking the time to come on the show as well. That's amazing.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
No worries at all, man. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Will do.
There we go. All right, that's our first guest. We've got Brandon in the waiting room. I'm sure we're going to have Jay Fizzle Dizzle sprinting around soon as well. But the chat has been blowing up, so we're going to get to you guys. I've not said hello to Duck yet, so I'm saying hello to Duck. I know he's been in this chat asking for some Captain Cravon love, and I'm trying to not cry and get emotional about him because that is my king, and he has gone off. And not only that, he led the team in tackles, 3 passes defense, and they all came on like the most clutch plays imaginable. I could not be more in love with Captain Cravon. I entered 2019 a little bit heartbroken. I thought I was going to leave it the same way, but over the same person. But Captain Cravon has gone, no, King, give me your heart. It's okay. I've got you. I'll protect it now. And I trust him. And he has gone on with his little Santa hat and his little pirate hat. And he has burned the ships down. And the Eagles are going to the playoffs. And what a damn night it has been. I could not be more excited for this team. And there is that sense of energy. And I don't know if you can feel it in the air. There is that sense again of what if. Like, I don't think anyone realistically would want to play the Eagles right now. Not in terms of a talent sense, because obviously on paper you're going to look at it, you're going to be licking your lips and thinking, all right, we've got a free 2-course meal here. But in terms of everything outside of that, because football isn't paper. Football isn't this versus this, therefore this should win. That's not how the sport works. We know how good Philadelphia can be when the pressure's on, how much they feed off that underdog energy. And for the first time in 2 damn years, we've got that underdog energy again. It was there in 2017. I've preached it for about a month on this show now, okay, that you come in and like you hit the top of the mountain and you achieve the most incredible height imaginable you could never reach again. How you can't go up from there. The only way is down. And slowly but surely they tumble. I mean, hey, hang on, Quinn. be it. Sure, is that a compliment? I don't know. The voice has probably ruined it, but sorry for catfishing you, I suppose. Anyway, the Eagles went tumbling back down, all right? And the only way then, the second it rock bottom, you've got absolute turmoil. You've got players breaking off. You've got anonymous sources. You've got Zach Brown being cut. It's unbelievable. And Carson Wentz rallies through it all. And they're underdogs again. There is a chip on the shoulder. There is no one believing in them. And finally, we've got that raw. I mean, sure, on paper it's worse than last time. It's worse than 2017. The injuries are that much more damaging. Like, I really, 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 really hope that Brandon Brooks is okay. I mean, it got to the point where there was a queue for the medical tent, for crying out loud. Like, as if it was some public urinal. As if it's some public toilet. Like, oh, what's that, Brandon? You need a wee? Yeah, sorry, mate. Be 2 seconds, baby. Won't be long. Like as if that's a thing. Like, that's how bad the injuries have gotten. And somehow, this Eagles team have pushed through and got to the playoffs. Quinn, I'm only messing with you, man. Thank you for tuning in. It means a lot. We're going to get in our second guest. We've got the 2 regulars in the waiting room. Okay, we've got Jay Fizzle Dizzle, who I know is going to probably blow our eardrums out with excitement. We've got Brandon and his eclectic takes. We're going to bring in Brandon now. And do you know? No, we're not. I'm going to let him talk to Jay Fizzle a bit, because Jay Fizzle's only just joined the waiting room. They're probably having a little chin wag, and I don't want to disrupt that conversation. All right? I'm a polite Brit. It's on the brand. They can have a little chat. I'll talk to them in a little bit, all right? I'll say with you guys. They can have the blind date, all right? And I will continue talking here. We can make a run, says Isaac. He wants to be in the NFC Championship game. I think they can. It's certainly possible. Guys, if you're new to this stream and you're not yet subscribed, it would be amazing if you could. Or leave a like on this stream as well. Either one helps us so much. I can't put that into words. And because it's the end of the year, you know I'm going to get super soppy at the end and probably cry again and say how much I love you all, because I do. So stick around for that. But if you are new, daily Eagles content. The one thing I do want to promote, this year in Philadelphia sports comes out Tuesday. So we've got this week in Philadelphia sports, where we talk about the game and everything else tomorrow. And then we've got this year in Philadelphia sports, where we go from January to December, recap everything, make it fun, make it flirty. It'll be a laugh. And I can't wait to share that with you. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. How about Fitzmagic though? I know I'm shocked. I'm genuine. I'm kind of not. I mean, they're playing for their futures. Brian Flores against his former head coach. You kind of expect a little bit of like chip on the shoulder. Patriots probably taking the step off a little bit, just to make sure they don't do anything damage-wise for the playoffs. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Can you do a film review on Sidney Jones? I can. There's a lot I want to do in the off-season as well. Like, it's a weird spot where I don't want to overload content now. And then I'd love to go through every game for a particular player and do a jumbo film review, and you can see the progression. But that takes days. And obviously, daily content is my job, so I need to get paid. Therefore, I need to be a bit more consistent. Therefore, little film rooms work a bit better. But we'll see. All right, I'll see what I can put in the timeline. But there'll be stuff coming out, don't you worry. Quinn says, if you're from Europe, how did you find the love in Philadelphia sports? I say this story like every time, man. And I'm going to be sent to the day I die, I think. There is a little link. What I'm going to do is I'll try and find it for you now. I'll give you the brief summary, and I'll send the thing. So the Eagles wrote an article on it like last year for the Jaguars game. So if you do have some time after this stream and you want to genuinely read the whole not boring, I shouldn't say boring, it's my own story. The whole story about how little teenage Liam found the Eagles and blah, blah, blah. I'll put the link in here for you. If you don't worry. Basically, it was 14, got an Xbox. It was the only game it came with was like Madden 09, I think it was. It was Madden 08 Madden 08 with Vince on the front. Played as the Eagles. That was cool. Enjoyed that. Thought, this sport's cool. So I went to follow it, and I was one of the nerdy kids at school. So I started going to the library and watching like top 10 NFL plays. And the only team I knew were the Eagles, so I randomly selected. And then I realised, they're underdogs and no one likes them, and they're a bit aggressive, and they're a culture. And I resonate with that. And I've never resonated with a sports team properly before, apart from Charlton. So I really dug into it. Went to do a broadcasting career, got into television at like 16. Didn't like the industry and the fact you've got to kiss your way up a ladder and go, producers love me, put me on telly. Like, I hated it. So I was like, hey, if I can combine my like talent, I guess in a way, with my passion, then I'm set. If everyone hates it, I'll get bullied. No change there. If everyone loves it, then I get a career out of it. And 5 years later, from the age of 19 to now, since April 19th this year, it's been my full-time job. So I'm blessed beyond all belief. And that's why I get so soppy with you guys and so damn emotional and tell you that I love you at the end of every stream, because I just didn't foresee this ever really happening. It's just been a grind and a half and part-time job after part-time job and trying to keep, running a website and running a team of like 30 people and then going to, we've got press parties for games and stuff. Like, it's amazing. It's an absolute blessing, and I never, ever want to take that for granted. So you guys are all part of this journey as well, and that's why I get all soppy. So there you go. Do I want Seattle or the Niners? I would want to personally take on the Niners, but enough of me, all right? Enough of me. We're going to get in one of our regulars. I'm sure he's had a little chin wag to Jay Fizzle. We're going to bring in Brandon. Hopefully he's not mid-conversation. Oh, I've done it again. I'm sorry. Hi, Brandon. You're...
Hey, I got taken out. Me and Jay Fizz were having a blast in the waiting room.
Oh, no. I said it. I'm not sure if you saw it. I said in the stream, I was like, I'll leave you guys for a minute because I don't want to interrupt.
It's all right.
How are you feeling?
I can't contain my excitement right now. There is so much to dissect after this game, man. It's unbelievable. Division champs, again, where we rightfully belong. Dallas scores 45-plus points for nothing, absolutely nothing. That takes the cake on tonight. I love it.
It's unbelievable. Man. I mean, I don't even know where to start with this game. I know where I would start, but I'm not sure everyone else would start. It's all right. So let's. I'm going to hand over to you. So I know you always come to the table with like an epilogue of takes that are so well thought out. Is it just all lost in the hysteria right now?
I know. I sadly could not watch the game because of where I live in the U.S. They had the Redskins and Dallas game on instead because it's to the local television. I didn't have access to a quote unquote live stream of the game, so I'm sitting on there watching it on ESPN Gamecast, and I gotta give a shout out to the Discord because they're keeping me up with plays that happen beforehand because there's that little bit of a delay, and I'll give a shout out to them in the Discord. Everybody supporting everybody, so we know exactly what's going on because we want the Eagles to win this game. So everybody, good job for the support. But oh my goodness, I can't right now. Carson has what he said. What is it? 2 or 3 different records tonight. I mean, come on.
It's unreal. It's unreal.
I think we could put this hater thing to bed. The clutch that he's not clutch. We can put that to bed. That he's not. He is an elite quarterback to me. I'm sorry. I don't care what everybody else thinks. He is an elite quarterback to me. And I was talking to Jay Fizz before I came on. Before he brought me on. I think you can make a case that this year's Eagles season was one of the most underrated that we've watched to date.
Yeah.
I think you can make that case.
I'd agree. It's definitely taken 5 years off my life. I'll put it that way. In terms of stress, it's been a bit emotional, but yeah. Oh no, he's gone. Oh, Brandon's gone. Oh, I think he's hit something. All right. Well, I'll try and fill as best as I can while Brandon's gone, or maybe he just didn't like the joke. Who knows? He'll be back soon. I'm sure he will. Bless him. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat really quickly. I know there's someone in the Discord chat. If you want to join the Discord and you want to get on this show, I'll put the link here again. Bang. Right. And whoever said I should collab with Sports Talk with Broads, I love Brody. He followed me on Twitter recently. Bearing in mind, when I first started this YouTube channel, it was an extension of the website, right? So phillysportsnetwork.com was always where my heart was. And I was like, hey, it'd be cool to take film room content and put it on YouTube. So when I first started out, Broads was already well ahead on the YouTube game. So looking at how he does things, the way he carries his show, the opportunities he's got from that, I couldn't be happier for him. Absolutely great guy. I think everyone on Philadelphia YouTube. I've not had the chance to talk to Lord Brunson. I know he's a good guy. Big fan of his stuff and the opinions he gives. Philly 500. A very specific humour taste. I'd say, me being very dry, very British, it's not quite my street, but I love the hustle he puts in. He doesn't take a day off. Loads of streams, loads of content. Love him. I haven't got a bad word to say about anyone in the Philadelphia YouTube game, other than maybe EDP, who I don't really credit as one because he just sort of does his own thing and gets suspended for it. So who knows? I'd love to see a collab. No, genuinely, man. I would love to. I want to do some interesting stuff next year. 2019 for me again, without getting too soppy, is genuinely one of those things where I've had to grow a lot. Like going from doing this as a hobby to doing it full time and being a business owner and a manager and a video creator and a writer, like all these things under one, is kind of forced me to remold a lot. Like I've almost broke at times to come back up again. So like I think next year now I've got my foot in and I know what's expected, what's demanded. Like I want to do so much more with this channel. Collabs is definitely one of them. There's going to be a lot more engaging content with you guys. As much as I can give you, basically, you've got it. All right, like start to finish, you've got everything. EDP's a treasure. He's all right. I like EDP. He's just a bit. I don't know. It's again one of those things where he's a very acquired taste. He's all right. He's good for the memes. We need to draft a British player. They're coming. I mean, there's a few kind of that exist. Right. Oh, is Brandon back in the chat? Can we bring him back? I'm going to try and bring him back. Oh, I've done it again. Brandon, you alive?
I'm back. Hey, I'm back. We must have. I guess YouTube doesn't want us talking anymore.
Oh, are they trying to split us up? Is that what's happening?
It's like this. I mean, I was back in the waiting room. Hey, I was patiently waiting. I was having a good time with Kate Fizz. So we're still going back and forth.
Oh man.
So,
all right. Next big question. The big question we'll pitch to you then is who do you want? Is there someone you want in the playoffs out of Seattle or San Fran?
You know what? I think at this point, if you take a longer look at it, it's almost a matter of a pick your poison. To where we know that San Fran has a weakness in Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not saying he's terrible, but he's shown that he's a really good quarterback, and we know that there's a reason that the Patriots wanted to hold on to him instead of Tom Brady, to where, obviously that got nixed, and, he's a 49er, and he's leading them to, obviously that playoff berth that they haven't had since 2012. But if you think about it, Jimmy is prone to turning the ball over if you get him under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know the focal point of San Fran is their defensive line and their linebackers. They have a really good core. Their secondary, from what I've seen, is not mediocre. I would put them at almost above average, to where you can punish them if you get the right scheme going.
Right.
As for Seattle, I think they're the most vulnerable at this point because, like you said, you brought up with their injuries and everything. We know that they brought back Marshawn Lynch, beast mode. I think at this point his Skittles diet is going to have to go a little bit higher due to his age. He need a little more Skittles to that beast mode form that we know well. But because of the running back injuries and because of the Legion of Boom being non-existent anymore, I think you can get more pressure on Russell than you can Jimmy. But really, the way the Eagles are playing right now, which is absolutely remarkable to everybody in the fan base, to where they really just flip the script and turn the coin over. They're in a prime position right now to do what everybody thought they couldn't do going into like the midway point of the season. Like there was a lot of people that weren't convinced after they beat Green Bay and Buffalo and all these quality wins that we got. People were still taking the Cowboys to win the division, and then obviously we see what happened with them. But really, we got a chance to really put all the doubters to bed, and since we put all the Carson doubters to bed, we have a chance to do the same thing with them. But going back to the question, I think it's more so of a pick your poison to where we know all and well Doug Pederson's success in the playoffs. I don't think there's a team that really wants to take him on because going back to where he's guaranteeing a win against the Cowboys and saying this and that and all that stuff that we can really throw under the rug at this point. I don't know if there's a team that can say that they're overconfident in wanting to take on us with that, what's the word I'm looking for? that pedigree that Doug Pederson has developed as a head coach for the Eagles. You know, he wins a Super Bowl in his second year, and him along with the team, they just keep going higher and higher and higher and higher to where you know, we see this underrated season to me this year. And you know, just like he told them after the Cowboys game, I think it was after the Cowboys game, he said a little faith can move mountains. And you know, the support that everybody's giving each other, that's what is most important, right? Everybody stepping up, and I think they can, as long as they keep that faith, I think they can make a Super Bowl run.
That's the only thing I don't think I've thought about when considering this matchup is you think, who do you want? Seattle, San Fran? It's, do you want Russell Wilson, Jimmy G? Do you want the defense or the new Legion of Boom with the Griffins or whatever? Like, I've never really thought of it as like, all right, well, let's think coaches for a second. I mean, Pete Carroll, seasoned playoff coach, you know he doesn't really get fazed by much, tends to keep his head, like, always keeps games close. I mean, right now, like, I just took a look at the score. They're down, like, 2 possessions, but I think, you know, they should come back and cover. Not that I put money on it, so I don't really care. But I think that bigger picture-wise, like, Shanahan, I believe that will be his first appearance as a playoff head coach?
I believe so.
As a head coach? I think as a head coach, surely.
That's right. Because he wasn't there when San Fran went last time. Because I think Harbaugh was there with Kaepernick.
Yeah, because they obviously then the first season under Jimmy got injured, and then you had the whole Nick Mullins saga. So if this is, I mean, I think you've got a bit more room for getting in his head a bit more, and especially like coming to Philadelphia. How many times has Pete Carroll come to Philadelphia in the rain, in the cold, and done it? Like, every time. Like, Shanahan, that's a warm team. It's a West Coast team. Like, they're coming over. It'll be cold. It'll be windy. It's December. They'll be hostile as anything in Philadelphia. And you've got a team that just, I think, for me, San Fran's a favourable matchup just based on that. But I could be wrong.
You could say that. That sounds pretty fair at this point. I mean, we can go back to the previous Super Bowl that you don't got a seasoned head coach and Sean McVay with the Rams, and there they go, and you know they had the man, I'm at a loss for words right now, but they had that high velocity offense that we seen Dallas have in the first 3 games, and they're putting up 40 plus points on the Rams, and they just did that to Washington today. They looked like the Cowboys did this year with putting up those big numbers, but because Sean McVay is in that situation for his first time going up against, you know, the Darth Vader with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, it's like, did the lights get too bright, or you know, you can go to so many variables, and not to say that Shanahan's he's gonna fall in a similar shadow, but I think we can say at this point, I think it's really an even chance whether we take San Fran or the Seahawks, regardless of the fact that Seattle's had our number. I think they're 5-0 against us to recent history, but both of them teams have to come to the link. They got to play the link for one. And you know, earlier in the season, we almost had the Seahawks. Was our offensive chemistry necessarily there? I don't think so. It wasn't complete. But, you know, when they were given the time that they necessarily need, regardless if it was late in the season or not, and regardless if a lot of our fans' hearts were broken, but they pulled it out when they needed to the most. So I think that gives everybody the utmost confidence in them to pull this through and to really put the NFL on notice that, you know, the Eagles aren't the pushover that they thought we were in the beginning of the year.
Absolutely. So, Brandon, on that note, thank you for coming in, as always, with those calm and measured takes. It's always fun having you on the show. How can people get in contact with you after this show if they want to say hello?
Like I always mention, man, you can catch me up on Twitter. I normally don't post a lot or nothing. I just follow what you guys do on there. But it's the same name, Lindy2315, and I'm very active on the Discord for anybody that wants to talk Eagles and where we go from game to game. So as always, Liam, it's a big pleasure to talk with you, and I just appreciate the time, man. Thanks again.
Pleasure's all mine, man. Listen, Happy New Year. Thank you for all the support you give us, and I'm sure we'll see you after the playoff stream as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
There we go. That is our resident Brandon Lindemuth. We've got a lot of people in the waiting room, so we're going to have plenty of you guys coming in soon. If you want to get involved, I will put the Discord link in the chat in just a second. Can we just acknowledge we've got 125 people in this stream? That's mad. Like, that's huge. We normally get maybe 70 to 80 at a time. Spirits are high. It's the playoff team now. We're talking postseason. There's a lot to discuss. If anyone's new around this channel, if you want to be part of what we do, again, we've got daily Eagles content. You want film breakdowns? I'll give you film breakdowns. You want funny things? I'll try. I'm not very funny, all right, but I'll see what I can do. And of course, live streams. We've got video content every single day of the week. That's the aim for 2020. We would love for you to be part of our community, and we're this close to 15,000, so getting you on board would be absolutely amazing. And if you could leave a like on that stream, that would be phenomenal. We just hit 50 likes, which is incredible. I'm going to be here for another hour or so. As Rob says, that is slow. That is rapid. It is rising right now. So we're going to copy that. If you want to get into Discord, there you go. You can join that and say hello. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat, because obviously we've been talking to Brandon for a little while. Deshaun is eligible to come back. Doesn't mean he'll play. Good point, David. Obviously, we saw that with Jordan Howard today. And do you know what? I was kind of like stuck at the first half thinking, want them to run the ball, but don't want them to run the ball. Like, it was a really weird spot to be in for a while. Nice to see you in the chat. Great Gatsby7, who I think his name is Matt. I may be wrong. Quinn Vlogs with the Eagles logo. It's nice to see you in as well. We've now got 1, 2, 3. It's easy as ABC. Waiting for Liam to pull someone into the recording so I don't get pulled. I can pull someone in. Do you want another guest? We can bring on another guest. It's fine. We can do that. I just thought I'd say hello to you lot. Didn't when you were all feeling upset that I wasn't reading out your comments. What else are we having? So at the minute, we've got just an update for anyone that is monitoring this Seattle and San Fran game. As far as I'm aware, Seattle have 14 rushing yards and 10 passing yards. And San Fran are 7 for 7 on passing with 73 and have 66 rushing yards. So looking like it might be San Fran then, isn't it, in a minute? Scott brings a lot more to the game plan and was able to do... Yeah, totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. I'd like to see some more film breakdowns. We'll get you covered, David. We've got plenty coming on the way. Don't you worry. Keep up the great work. Oh, thank you so much, Lloyd. It means a lot that you're able to come into this stream and say hello. It's always cool. I just love this community. It's amazing. This is the new norm. Maybe this is the new norm. Maybe just a lot of injuries, underdog playoff runs. Maybe that's the new norm. Who knows? Seattle versus... It would take a Seattle comeback. So if anyone fancies some money and wants that to happen, Seattle are plus 9.5 in play now. But bet your own risk, all right? Don't include me in that. Oh, dude, you don't have to donate at all. Oh, Mr. Super Nice Guy. That's a very super nice gesture. Cheesesteaks and tasty cakes for everyone. And do you know what? I will sing you the Captain Kravon song of, the Atomic Kitten version a little bit later on. Since we're rolling, since we've got 122 of you watching, since we're over 50 likes, since the Eagles are going to the playoffs, just what a stellar moment. And as T. Dillinger says, 3 consecutive playoff berths for an Eagles team that has had more injuries than I've had cups of tea. It is unbelievable. I genuinely cannot just put this into words. It has been absolutely outstanding. So we're going to bring in our next guest. And I know I'm going to cut him off mid-conversation again. But here he comes. Jay Fizzle Dizzle. He's here, I think. Hello?
Hey, what's good?
We've done it. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm good. I mean, I was expecting you to be screaming and shouting. You seem very, very calm and at ease at the minute.
Well, I have a bit of a cold.
Oh.
I'm a little bit intoxicated.
Oh, God.
So we're just gonna keep it moving. But I'm at a bus station right now, so I had to run in here. That's why I couldn't jump in immediately.
Oh, geez, no worries. Okay, so what are your takeaways from the game then? Is sober? We'll all pretend you're sober. All right, we'll give you the full attention. And here's with your big takeaways from the game.
No, all right. First things first. Carson Wentz needs the MVP trophy, and it says yes. I know Lamar was playing out of his mind. Yes, Lamar is an amazing player. Yes, Baltimore wouldn't be the same team without him, and they are a problem and everything. But Carson was literally playing with people with no hands for the first part of the season. He has figured it out. He has ended every conversation about him not being a leader, not being good enough, not being able to come back from injury. He's done it all. There's nothing this man can't do. And on top of that, he's a better version of Brett Favre. I'm not going to get – I don't know if you were in the Discord earlier this week when I had to go off on Brett Favre, but he's a better version of Brett Favre. The pass to Perkins pretty much solidified me for that. Or solidified that for me. That was Brett Favre. That's just throwing across the body, finding it and putting it right in there for
That was unreal throw. Absolutely unreal. And there are a few of them. There are a few. I mean, obviously there was that one to Deontay Burnett, who no one's forgotten his name. He made one catch and now he's like the hot name on everyone's lips. Robert Davis, that was called back, but that was an exceptional throw. And it's staggering. And it's weird, isn't it? Because you look at this system and this offense and you think how many quarterbacks could go into that and do what Wentz does with the lack of weapons that are there. Like, who realistically in the NFL can step in? And that is, when we talk about lifting an offense, that's the definition right there. You can't ask for anything more than what Wentz is giving right now.
In the 26 years that I've been watching football, I'm 27. 26 years that I've been conscious and watching football, I've never seen a quarterback do more with less in my entire life. I've always heard that your quarterback is supposed to put the team on his back and keep it pushing, but they normally have at least one person or something that they can rely on. And at every step of the way, whatever Carson Wentz's security blanket is, it's taken from under him, and he just goes, all right, well, screw it. We're going to figure it out again. And also, again, that was my next thing. Doug Pederson, it is a travesty and a crime that he has not won Coach of the Year yet. There's no way Sean McVay should have won over him. I don't even remember who won it last year, some bum. But it's Pederson. And he didn't come in here with all these injuries and making backup quarterbacks get paid millions and zillions of dollars and making everybody look amazing. And then to come back this year with a team full of practice squad players and perfectly call a game, well, not perfectly, because there's still some calls there.
Yeah, we'll let them slide for this week. Everyone gets a pass for this 1 week. Right? We can forget it all for a week.
Still, for him, seriously, for him to come in and for 3 out of the 4 years of being a head coach, not only make the playoffs, but also win a ring and then beat division champs twice with all of the things that he's had to deal with, there is no reason this man should not be blessed with Coach of the Year. That is ridiculous. Also, I want to give out a shout out to Isaac Malu, who has been balling lately.
Yeah.
I was very, very down on him when we first drafted him. The first 2 years we drafted him, I didn't really see a lot out of him, but he is coming to his own. And that is, I have nothing but amazingness to say for him. I'm so happy that we got him, and I'm so happy he's developed. And he is always out there making a play and blocking his tail off. And I'll mess with him until the day I die. I love Isaac Seumalo. I cannot wait for it. And that was another thing, too. It's just looking at the younger – like, one of the things that was a knock on the Eagles going into this season was how old we were.
Yeah.
But looking at the young players that we have, looking at Isaac, looking at Andre, looking at – also, where was J-Jaw today? Like, did he play? Was he in? Was he around?
I was too distracted by Captain Cravon to notice anyone else on the field, so I can't reply to that, I'm afraid.
Also, but he's a name that should definitely be going on there. Captain Cravon came in and balled out something terrible today. So, I mean, he deserves it. Sidney Jones comes in and takes his opportunity and goes, I'm still that guy. I should have been picked in the first round, and I am that guy. And coming through all the problems that he's had, man. And I don't know if it was coaching. I don't know if it was the players themselves, because, again, we've been very, very down on the positional coaches before games like today happened. But, people come in, and it just seems like big moments take people to come in and step up, and that's exactly what we've been doing all year long. And everyone needs a round of applause and a hand clap for that, except for Mike Groh. Yes, he's been coaching better. Yes, he's been coaching better. He has been doing a lot better, but look, man, it's been 2 years. It took too long for you to get here. I appreciate what you're doing. Hopefully we get a ring out of this, but, you probably should clean up your desk.
I mean, my favourite thing of this week, right, was that when there was that report that came out that said, where's all these NFL head coaching candidates? Like, there's so many, and it's like everyone's focused on, oh my god, Mike Groh's a head coaching candidate. It's like, yeah, along with 87 other names that were in that list. Like, I was like, you got to single him out. He's just thrown in there because he's an offensive coordinator. That's shocking research.
I don't care if if they threw him in because they like his name. I could care less. Take him now. Take him twice. All right, please get him going. And it's not. Again, he's been playing out. He's been calling greater games and everything like that. But come on now, I'm over it. All right, after the season, go ahead, clean out your locker. Get your tape. Get everybody out.
All right, but on a positive, we can't end this segment on a negative about Mike Groh. So we're going to end it on how far do you think this Eagles team can go?
So I had a moment on Monday night after the Packers ended up beating the Vikings, and I really sat down and thought about it. And looking at everything that we are, looking at how the playoff picture rang out, because again, I didn't expect Green Bay to take the second seed.
No.
I genuinely thought it was going to be either Seahawks, San Francisco at the 1, and then the Saints at the 2, and that was the biggest concern. But looking at it now, knowing that either San Francisco or Seahawks are going to take the 1, and then we play the other one, and then knowing that Green Bay has a bye and that the Saints have to now go on the road to a team, this now pretty much goes in our favor. So I'm gonna say this. I'm just speaking into existence. Hopefully it happens. First things first, we can no longer have injuries. Injuries are now a thing of the past.
Okay.
Injuries. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. Everyone else is playing in Madden with no injuries on for the rest of the season until whatever happens. All right, we're done with them. Second, I would rather take the Seahawks in Philly. I know people have this weird superstition about us not beating the Seahawks on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Look, man. There's something we literally played them a couple of weeks ago. If we had the same offense that we had even last week or the week before playing them, we would have won that game. We would have easily won that game. With the defense now playing up to snuff, literally. Also, that's another thing. We get down on Jim Johnson. He has a top 10 ranked defense. I don't know what you guys want from him. He's top 10. He has a top 10 overall defense. It's been pretty ranked high since he's got here. But anyway. They pretty much play up to the competition that they're playing, which is good now because now we have nothing but great teams ahead of us. Mm-hmm. So he calls the same game or a game just like the one we played, and the offense can get something going. Hopefully we get Lane Johnson back. Hopefully we can actually see Jordan Howard run the ball instead of just knowing that he's around and on the field. But we take that. I feel like we can go ahead and take Seattle out at home. That then puts That then puts us going to San Francisco, which I really in my heart believe is a winnable game. Mm-hmm. San Francisco's defense is not what it was at the beginning of the season, and I definitely feel like Doug can take advantage of that with all the different weapons. And on top of that, we did Deshaun Jackson back.
True, very true. So
that's all we need.
Are you alluding to a potential Super Bowl run?
I am saying that. NFC Championship game, because with the Saints having to go to Green Bay, I don't think that they beat Green Bay in the cold. The reason why is that they don't have the same run game they did when they had Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. So them not having that them not having that rushing attack, them also having Drew, who's been playing sporadic throughout the season. Granted, he got that injury earlier in the season. But since he's came back, he's been kind of up and down. He's still a beast. You can't take him for granted. But I feel like if we get some pressure on him, I feel like if Jim can just call a decent game and our offense can get something going, that's enough to be able to take them out. But excuse me, I'm sorry. They would have to go to Green Bay. I don't think they have enough to beat Green Bay in Green Bay. That means we would then have to go to Green Bay for the NFC Championship game and to see Carson Wentz have to go up against Aaron Rodgers in the game of the season to be like, all right, man, it's Super Bowl or bust would be amazing. And we have 3 running backs, and we have Deshaun Jackson back. Hopefully we'll have Zach Ertz back by then, too. Mm-hmm. I think that's more than enough to go ahead and knock Green Bay right out the playoffs.
I don't disagree. Especially if they could just, get in Aaron Ted rent-free just before. Just, keep everyone tweeting videos of the game from earlier in the season. Just if that happens, all right, just everyone tweeting videos and then get in his head a bit and then we'll be fine. I totally agree. But listen, it has been amazing. I won't keep you too much longer. How can people follow you if they want to get in contact and say hello?
It is j.rel at j.rel on Twitter. Just hit me up. Like I said, I'm always in the Discord. usually saying what's up to everybody. I was quiet for most of the week because I got sick. So
Well, I hope you feel better
apologize, but like I
soon,
said,
and it
Monday
doesn't
was
stop
going
you
crazy.
partying on New
Thank
Year.
you. Oh, it's going down. You have no idea.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna take a NyQuil nap. I'm gonna take 2 NyQuil naps before the 31st. We're gonna be okay.
That's what we like to hear. All right, man. Listen, have a great start to 2020. Thanks for all your support and always coming on.
All right, always, brother. Thank you for everything you've been doing. I love the Discord. Love you guys. Hope everybody has a great 2020. Can't wait to see you guys. Can't wait for next week after we beat down Seattle and keep moving.
Love that. All right, man. Listen, enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, brother. You have a great night.
You too. There you go. That was resident J Fizzle Dizzle. Not disappointing, as always. Absolute stan. We love him. Also, while we're here, big shout to Renee Ballard. I know she's in like every single stream she can, so thank you, one of our biggest supporters. We've got Patrick Hoffman. I know he's in the Discord server waiting to come in. Brian, I don't we need to cut anyone. It's all right. Like we could have. That's about 6 weeks ago. If they're going to cut anyone, that would have been the time to do it. Right now, though, they're okay. They don't need to send us. If you cut someone now, it's like the most counterproductive thing possible because you've just done all you set out to do. All you set out to do this year was make the playoffs, and they did it in the most adverse circumstance possible. You don't want to cut people now, especially with that kind of cap hit. But I think, talking of money, I think Malcolm Jenkins would probably deserve a payday. It's treason that he didn't get one at the start of this offseason. I think Rodney McLeod is going to get a new deal, not more than anything. Ronald Darby can go. Jalen Mills can probably be like a CB4 or something. But I think it's time we give some love to the first of my humble stands. Now, if you know, right, Lloyd Christmas says thank you. No, listen, man, thank you for coming in. See, I'm getting all sloppy already. We've got 153 of you in this stream. That's unbelievable. If you are new around here, if you could hit that subscribe button if you like what you see. I don't mean me, because you wouldn't. But if you'd like this sort of content, we're going to be here for every Eagles game forever, hopefully. We've got daily Eagles content. We've got daily Philly sports content at our website. But we'd love for you to join this community. Again, we've got film breakdowns. We've got these. We've got podcasts. We've got everything. But genuinely, one guy, we got mentioned earlier, I think Doug mentioned it earlier, Boston Scott. All right. Now, as you know, if you've been around here for a while, if you've been around the PSN channel for a while, you know there have been 2 film rooms on Boston Scott. One when he first got signed, earlier in the offseason, that they've got the successor to Darren Sproles. I called it then. I said it then. The guy from Louisiana Tech who had Saints fans seething that he'd been poached by the Eagles. I said it there and then, and I put it in the film room, and I was like, this guy's got something. And he comes through this season and battles through just being buried on that depth chart, and he has 3 rushing touchdowns today. The first man to do so since 2011 when LaShawn McCoy did it against the Jets. That is unreal from Boston Scott. A man who, again, I've been standing for a while. Jordan Howard went down, and that opened it up. It opened it up to see Miles Sanders and Boston Scott together, and Scott being his little chippy outside back that we know can break ankles, that we know can get down in open space. And I just wanted to give a massive round of applause to someone that I have been standing for the whole year and pumping my fist down. And also a big shout while we're here. Okay, we don't normally do this. It's not like, when would I ever infuse brands of being a Charlton fan and an Eagles writer? But Kempser, if you can click his name, I can't do it for some reason on here, but if you can view his channel, he streams Football Manager, he's a Charlton fan, he's a top lad. If you want to go and say hello to him and just subscribe and watch what he does, I think he's more on Twitch than YouTube. But I'm sure you can drop a link to Twitch in there. I wouldn't mind. You can do it. I'm not going to tell you off. But Ollie's a legend, so just make sure you go and follow him, and his pinned tweet will forever be in my heart. Jenkins isn't a top paid safety though, because none of his money's guaranteed, Dillinger. That's the misconception. So Jenkins isn't like I think, like, off the top of my head, like 12th. That's probably wrong now, because obviously there's been, like, moves throughout the year and stuff. But because none of it was guaranteed, he was, like, basically on nothing. When will we know who we play in? Good question. It will be at the end of essentially the games tonight, or so the Seattle and San Fran game. And I'll get you a score update now. Almost. I'm just trying to find the app on my phone. It is currently 13-0 to the San Francisco 49ers. Seattle doing their best to lay an egg. They've got 6 yards passing. That is shocking. Absolute scenes. That's disgraceful. Camus, and I said, yeah, that's fair. I don't want Jeffery back. You're stuck with Jeffery now. That's the thing. That's the worst bit, is it? Because I've guaranteed his salary. Which, you know what? Thinking about it, A lot of people are angry at that move. I was one of them. All right, when they guaranteed his salary next year, I was, it hasn't really done anything. You draft JJ Arthega-Whiteside, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But having seen how little Arthega-Whiteside has been used, I know there's been this argument of he's cross-training 3 positions at once and you don't know when they're going to use him. Is he a slot guy? Is he big slot? Is he going to be WR1 and that jump ball specialist? And he's done a tiny bit, not really a lot. So, I don't know. For me, it's more of they probably think, all right, he's got a little bit longer to go. Let's put him another year on the back burner and let's just give Alshon another year. Because we've got the same receiver in Alshon Jeffery. Let's just keep Arthega-Whiteside buried a bit. Let's work him privately. Let's get Carson Wentz working. You know, who is the king of wide receivers now. Let's just get him behind the scenes. But no, dude, don't be silly. Don't be silly, Kempster. Nah, that's what we're here for, man. We all support each other. We stand. Up the Reds, up the Eagles. If my aim in 2019, just to end it, is to get as much of my Twitter followers as Charlton fans as I can, and then as many Charlton fans to become Eagles fans. So if we can infuse those two, we're doing something good. So Jeffery can rate. I think more than anything, Ernest, he's a number 1 receiver when he's healthy, and if he has a whole off season to get healthy, we know what he can do. And at the end of the day, if he can explode, as soon as wide receiver money continues to rise as it does, every year you're going to see someone break it and break it and break it and break it. If you can guarantee next year's salary, you're going to be undercutting the market. And that's how he does. He kind of undercuts the market. Tao Sang and Weapon says, is Deshaun in a contract year? No, he's not. I think he's got 2 more after this, so he's not going anywhere. We're on 170 of you. This is mad. I don't think we've seen a stream get this much attention. Maybe at all. Maybe since preseason, where we did the watch-alongs during the actual games, which I refuse to do in the season because I know you all got rituals. Most of you go to games. Some of you watch at home. Some of you have, certain spins you do in your living room to make sure that you're fully ritualed up, and I don't want to interfere with that. So we'll just come in with the post-game stuff. Now we do have a couple more people. We're going to bring in the next man, who I believe is Patrick. I might be wrong. This is back to Discord. Patrick, are you here? I'll take that as a no. We'll give it a second. He's here. There he goes. Oh, hello.
I also don't have much to say except Ward season.
War season. Which is ironic because the name on Discord now says Scott season.
Because I was forced to change it because Ward was injured and then he came back.
Oh,
so
right.
I had to change the brand up just a little.
Just had to find a new season. Season somewhere. It's got to be some season I can get.
I mean, my name before this was Ward season doesn't end, it just rests.
That's fair. That's a very good
back,
thing.
So.
And it also picks up little hammies, but then also gets better. So,
Yeah. But one interesting thing I wanted to point out,
Mm-hmm.
the last time an Eagles running back scored 3 touchdowns, whether it be rushing or passing, we won the Super Bowl. So,
I like that. I like that.
Corey Clement against the Broncos, or was it 2 rushing, 1 passing touchdown?
Yeah,
we won the
and
Super
then
Bowl that year. So
yeah, I mean, Jordan Howard's done it this year, so that's 2. So surely we're going to win 2 Super Bowls in the same year. That's the way it works, right?
I mean, I'm pretty sure the Patriots have done it somewhere, so it has to happen to us,
right, exactly. But no, I mean, it's weird. I mean, obviously, I think 2017 had this nothing to lose, everything to gain thing, right? That was the whole energy around it. And now, I genuinely feel as though because that magic has happened, the same as last year, it's well, we know what we can do. It's you can invigorate that same magic. Once you've been there and you know you can do it, and it's suddenly you can achieve the impossible, it becomes you don't want to face that magic. It's if you're an opposing team, it's they've done it before. There's that. It's that kind of out of bubble thing, which you can't control. That you just think there's a slight chance that the Eagles could do it again because they've done it before.
Yeah, I don't want to be yay, injuries, but I think Alshon and Nelson Aguilar getting injured was probably the best thing that could have happened for the Eagles at the time.
Yeah.
Because now we're running with practice squad guys that are fighting for their contract, and they're having a great time doing it, and we're winning.
It's weird, isn't it? Because you would never bench. Well, you like to think you'd never bench your top guys for guys in the practice squad or make that kind of move radically. But in a way, it's given a renewed sense of energy. It is that youth infusion of guys like Greg Ward, like Joshua Perkins, who caught a touchdown today, like Boston Scott, like Kravon LeBlanc, that have come out and just made an absolute statement more than anything to say hey, we're here. They're fighting for their futures. And I think they've rallied around Carson Wentz. Like, if there was any doubt, and I don't want to put it on ifs, buts, and maybes with Alshon Jeffery, like, we're talking absolutes. If that was anything, any noise, any mild disconnect or discontent, it's just been ripped out. And now you've just got receivers and tight ends that fully believe and are fully invested in Carson Wentz and are adapting to their quarterback and are trying to like push forward and make it. It's amazing.
Yeah, so question for you.
Okay.
With the way the Eagles have played the last 4 weeks, does Groh save himself from being fired to the point where he might get a head coaching position? As dumb as that sounds, but he was given fresh players and the offense has been decent. Obviously, it hasn't been what we had hoped, but
it's tricky.
Stepped up.
It's really tricky. I mean, I said in the podcast on Friday that he deserves a round of applause. I mean, everyone's so quick to rip him down and so quick to just, trash him and say they want him gone, they want him out. But all we know for sure that he does, we don't know anything else about his role other than that he does the first 15 plays of the game. They've been scoring in the last 3 or 4 games. I don't think they did it this drive. But first quarter points are a thing now. That wasn't for the first 8 games. We've seen more rollouts. We've seen more sprint outs. We've seen a different approach to the run game. We've seen Miles Sanders lined up in single back and not in the shotgun. There have been significant changes to adapt around the players you've got. And if Doug has done that all himself, then hell to him. Get another statue next to the Philly special one and worship him as a king now. But I think there must have been some input from Mike Groh at some point. And for that, he does maybe not saved his job. That's still under a massive review. It's sort of if you drop a cake but then go and order a lovely takeaway and everyone's happy because it's better, you've still wasted a cake. It doesn't change anything. But I think he's at least made a case to say it's not all bad.
Yeah. Now, can the same be said about Schwartz, though? Because the defense has been, it's been a thing.
The defense has been a thing, yeah. It's odd, though, isn't it? It's really odd, because I don't know where every week it's different. It's if the offense starts good, the defense will start bad. But if the defense starts good, the offense will start bad. And they can never seem to both be good at the same time. It's I don't get it. But I think that Schwartz has had some incredible games this year. Really, really has. I think the Seattle game, the New England game, last week. I think this week was just as good. I mean, the game against the Cowboys was borderline adult content watching the All-22 and just seeing how many disguised coverages there were. There weren't any miscommunications. And I think the more you see that in motion, which it is poetry, it starts with a cover 0, and then before you know it, there's 2 safeties back, you've got a lineman in coverage. The more you see that, you can see why the younger corners get it wrong and why there are so many oh, you were supposed to be there. Why aren't you? You can see that. But when it works, it really works. So it's I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. It would be foolish in a way because the players you've got now are thriving in that system. Your front 4 is built for that system. Anything outside of a 4-3 ain't going to work anymore. So I think keeping him, I would keep them both, as of right now, if I was going to guns to my head make a decision, I would keep both of them for another year. I wouldn't be pushed to a point of thinking, all right, we need to get rid of Groh, we need to get rid of Schwartz. Now, if we'd have lost today, if there was a massive offensive breakdown or a defensive collapse where, let's say after they went up 34-17, they lost the game, then absolutely Schwartz's job gets straight back in and you just focus on all the times this nearly happened this year. But I think that the intensity they showed, they're 11 quarterback hits, 4 sacks, Saquon did nothing, Zeke did nothing. You can make it. I don't think you can be as intent to just say, hey, let's get rid of Schwartz. I think he's done enough to save his job.
Yeah, I think the one thing, and I think this will generally fix not the entire defense, but it would make the defense usable, is we need a corner to go along with Mills. Mm-hmm. I like Mills and how aggressive he is, but I feel like he's hurt on the fact that he has Darby beside him.
Oh, I've said that for a year. I've said it honestly. It blows. I mean, bearing in mind, I don't want to play that same card for the. Actually, I will. We got 180 people watching. If I'm ever gonna flex, I'm gonna flex it now. The most disliked video on this channel is me saying that signing Ronald Darby was the worst decision the team made all offseason, purely because quarterbacks pick their poison. If you want someone that can't tackle, you throw underneath against in off coverage, you go with Ronald Darby. If you've got on the other side someone that can tackle but doesn't have the speed to play deep, you attack Jalen Mills. That doesn't help each other. They literally contrast each other's strengths and weaknesses. Whereas if you've got someone like Resula Douglas and Sidney Jones. Like, Resula doesn't have the speed that Darby does, but he's more aggressive and he's lengthy around the catch point. Sidney Jones isn't as vigorous as Jalen Mills, but he's a little bit more well-rounded. So it's like, I think when those two are on the field, they do look a bit better for the most part. Like, it's not all perfect. They do give up some shoddy plays, but that whole secondary has this season. And if we're talking the best of a bad bunch, I genuinely feel as though they do the job. So, like, I think if we're going to talk long-term secondary, Darby's gone. That's happening. Get that sorted. Get him gone. Jalen Mills, I would keep as like a rotational guy. I'd keep hold of Resula Douglas for that same reason. I would let, honestly, Resula, Sidney Jones, Avonte Maddox, maybe even Mills fight it out. Like, have them have a training camp battle next year. Bring in a free agent. Bring in a rookie. Add it to the mix and just see what kind of soup you can cook up. Like, if you can get the best corners out of that, just get Darby out of it, because he doesn't bring anything outside of being really quick, which doesn't help when you're out of position anyway. So, like, that would be my approach to it at a very early stage.
Yeah, the way I argued it on Discord, I want to see Mills come back, and I think bringing in a aggressive, taller corner, putting him at the number 1 corner, and then moving Mills to the second, I think would work out well. Like I said, I think the biggest issue is Darby, just because, like you said, he's an easy target compared to someone like Mills, who has gotten a lot better on preparing for the double move.
Yeah.
Like last year, I would say get rid of Mills, but this year, I'm actually I'm growing on him. I'm enjoying it. It's a good season.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing development from Mills, and we haven't seen that from Darby. Like, that's the way I look at it. Like, when it comes to Jalen Mills, at least you can see, hey, he, as far as I know, touch wood, he hasn't bitten on a double move yet, right? That I've noted. So that's an improvement. That's a weakness in his game. He looks more composed now when playing. He's still not perfect. He still gives up mistakes, but he's more composed. He's more aware. He doesn't get his feet stuck in the mud anymore. He doesn't go all in. He's able to give himself a chance to recover. Whereas Ronald Darby has been the same corner he's always been, which is can't stay healthy, can't tackle, just happens to run very quickly. Like, that's Ronald Darby. That honestly is. Whereas Resula Douglas, I think, has developed. You can see him in terms of tackling, he's a bit better. Sidney Jones is beginning to find his confidence, which I think could be the only thing that's ever really lacked. Like, you know, bearing in mind that as a rookie when he came in, had to miss that whole season. He's never really been given a clear starting path. So he's had to really grind for that, battle hammy injuries like every year since. So we're beginning to see the flourishing of those young products. Like Kravon LeBlanc is getting there. I know I'm going to burst out any second now, but he had the showing of a lifetime today. Avonte Maddox has had a bit of a regression, but it overall, like, if you can just get a big name free agent, maybe trade for someone, or draft a rookie early, like you've got like 9 draft picks, like second, third round. Again, just develop them. Someone that is a bit more vertical, like, LJ level vertical, that can come in and make an impact around the catch point to contrast Jalen Mills, then I'm all right with that. But you've got a relatively strong group. I just think they were hurt by scheme and, more than anything, just Ronald Darby's bizarre play.
You're not wrong.
I just think like the worst thing was me realising you've just asked me a very simple question, but because it's about cornerbacks, you're going to get a 35-minute answer.
I mean, I'm down for a 35-minute answer. And I think I just love how we both agreed that Darby is the issue.
Oh, for sure. I took a big L this year when everyone disliked it and that was the video that defined stick to soccer, you're British, what are you talking about? Every comment on that video was pretty much the same. And then I've been alright since. That's been the one take. And I don't like rooting for people's failures. But in terms of rooting for my own success at the expense... No, I'm joking. But genuinely, it's, I think we've just all agreed that he's not been a good corner. And that secondary does need rebuilding. But if we can make a playoff run and those young guys go out and someone like Sidney Jones, who knows, there is a good chance Mills and Darby, they've all got access to Spotlight. They can see the contracts they're on. They can just ask their friend, like, hey, Sue, are you on next year? Oh, you got 2 years. Oh, I've got 3. So, it's easily done, right? So, they know that Darby's probably gone. They know that Mills could be brought back. He's a high-character guy, big-time leader. He's going to be cheap, let's be honest. But the starting roles are up for grabs. If they can go out and just shine and dominate and put on production, like in this playoffs, like a couple of interceptions, few big pass breakups, maybe... go out and silence, I don't know, maybe like a Deebo Samuel or someone in the playoffs if they get San Fran, or a Tyler Lockett if they get Seattle. Someone just to make an impact. it's making that statement early and saying, hey, we've got this. This is a young secondary to build around, and just reinvigorating that hope. Because like all throughout training camp was, these guys are going to start, but they're not the starters, so it doesn't really matter. Like, and that was it. That was all summer long. Like, give them a shot at being the starter. Let them really grow into that mold and see what happens. And I think every time they've all been given that opportunity, Sidney Jones has smashed it this year. Resula Douglas, I think he had a game of two halves. There were some really good plays today. There were some forgettable ones. And Captain Kravon is just a god and a deity to everyone. So it's all good.
You know, the more you talk about Cravon, the more I want you to make a word season shirt specifically for me so I can buy it.
I mean, there's a lot of people requesting shirts in the chat, so I'll see what I can do. But listen, Patrick, thank you for coming on and being the little the Discord angel that you are, making it all look so lovely and pretty all the time. How can people get hold of you if they want to say hello?
Obviously in the Discord, I am Scott Season. I'm the one with the pretty yellow name. And then on Twitter, I am at PattyCake1997.
There we go. Amazing stuff. Listen, have a happy new year, Patrick. I will surprise you in the new year with that t-shirt. I promise I haven't forgotten. I still haven't been paid from my December payday yet, so I'm waiting on it. But
I mean, you got me my one t-shirt, my Philly Sports Network.
Did I get you one?
I've been wearing that.
I did get. Yeah. You almost milked a second. Shocking. Shocking behaviour. Right, fired. That's joking. Maybe I'll surprise you with a second then. Who knows? But have a happy new year, man. Thanks for all you've done and for all your support.
Yep. Okay. Bye, Dad. I love you.
For God's sake. Oh, amazing stuff. Do you know what? It's mad. 225 people in this stream. I said I'd go for 100 minutes. We're here all night, boys. This is unbelievable scenes. So Doug says, okay, better question. Free agency, who are we getting? I would give you an answer if I could genuinely reel off the names off the top of my head. I can't right now. I just want to relax. It's weird. I don't treat myself to college football normally until the NFL season's over, and then I just go all in on draft film. And it's the same with free agents. I think Robbie Anderson would be the... Oh, I just got up in the chat. Brilliant. I think Robbie Anderson would be the only name, but given that he wants, 10 million a year it's come up that people want him, 10 million he wants a deal. So... I don't know. It could be a weird one. Kravon, get the rave on. We're going to have to sing the Captain Kravon Atomic Kitten song at this rate, but knowing there's 220 people, it might not end well. I did just want to say, guys, as well, again, if you are new around this channel and you're like, who is the British guy? Why is he talking about the Eagles? Why do I care? All right. If you could hit that subscribe button, it will be absolutely amazing. It's the best way to help support this kind of content. Again, daily Eagles coverage, all right? I try my best, all right? Every single day, there's an Eagles video. I try and do 3 articles and a video a day. That's my aim, so phillysportsnetwork.com for that. Videos are here, so you get Eagles articles and videos every single day. If you like them, turn that little grey thumb blue, not the down one, the up one, right? And then hit subscribe. That'll be absolutely brilliant. Let's see who we've got else in the Discord. I know we've got a couple people. I know we've got Geordie Fighter and Isaac in just a second, but Geordie normally wants to be last. He loves the spotlight. So to bring him on, Kenny Golladay, prime example. Liam, why do you think Jordan Howard got no snaps? I would say usually it's a sign that he's not healthy. I would argue, why did they dress him in that case? But I couldn't understand why. I don't know, if he's not healthy, don't dress him. Just don't dress him. It's not that hard. But Killer for Life Berry. Imagine a Killer Berry. That's mad. Fair play. Thank you for subscribing, man. That's awesome. It's really cool to have you on board. I'm honestly kind of blown away that we've got 237 of you, 236, watching this stream right now. We're ending 2019 on the biggest high note imaginable. And do you know what? It's time. I have channeled it in long enough. I have held in my Cravon LeBlanc praise for as long as I can. And every time his name mentions, my heart does butterflies and I get a little bit flustered. But the fact that this man exists is everything. All right, so he came to the Eagles. I made the film room and I was like, do you know what? Within one game, I really liked him. Steve Murrell just says, Liam, when your voice went high, you sounded just like Tim Roth. I don't know who that is, but I'm going to guess it. So I look like what? I look like Joe Burrow and sound like Tim Roth. What a great person to be. But back to Captain Kravon. Let's just all take a minute. He comes in. And I loved the way he played and the intensity he played with at college, playing for what was still a very, very new team. Very, very new team at the time. Came in, couldn't really cut it for like Chicago, gets signed to the Eagles practice squad, makes an impact instantly, and the first thing you see is just hustle. It's hustle on tackles, it's being around the ball, it's leaving assignments when the play's there to go and clean up, it's willing to get down and dirty in the run and hit like a freight train. And more than anything, it's that same intensity around the catch point. He reads the game well, he's aggressive in press. We love it. All right, we absolutely love to see it. And then last year happened, and there was one game. It was against the LA Rams. And I don't know where it came from. I couldn't tell you how or why. But it was against the Rams, and Kravon LeBlanc comes in, and he makes an impact. And he makes some plays. And somewhere along the line, I tweet something about Sean McVay. And at this point, I still had another job. So I was on 0 hours sleep, a lot of caffeine. And I was just tweeting, like, quite delirious. And said, like, oh, leave our Captain Cravon alone or something. Or thou shalt not throw at Captain Cravon. And it caught on. And ever since then, I've been emotionally attached to this player and willed for his success. And his mother follows me on Twitter. And Cravon follows me on Twitter. Which is terrifying because I genuinely feel he must think I'm an absolute rabid fan. And it's a bit creepy. I've tried to get him on podcasts. He tries to play hard to get with me. He doesn't answer his emails. I can only do so much. But Kravon LeBlanc, Captain Cravon, his mum tweeted me once saying thank you for the support. He comes in this year and he's buried on the depth chart again. He has an injury. He's injured. The team reward him with a contract extension. Now, don't you worry, Captain. Don't you worry. We're going to give you a deal because we know how much you gave to us last year. We haven't forgotten that interception against the Saints when everyone doubted you, when you couldn't get a game in. We know what you're capable of. So they brought him in. They kept him back, despite the fact that Avonte Maddox and Sidney Jones already on the roster as nickels. And then today happens. He comes in with 4th and 4 pass breakup, with a huge tackle for a loss on Saquon Barkley, 2 more passes defense, leading the team in tackles. That's my king. That is a guy that just gives it all every damn day. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, he comes back from an injury, from that Liz Frank problem, comes back and steps up in the most magnificent way when it's all on the line. And that is the second time. That is the second time he's done that in 2 years. And I couldn't be happier for him. I really, really, really couldn't be happier for him. And I know it's like a bit of a joke because it's Captain Cravon and it's the pirate hat and the Santa hat. But from the bottom of my heart, I could not be happier for that guy. Because, he's been cut from 2 different teams, from Detroit, from Chicago, ends in Philly. It's a stacked DB depth chart, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not. It's stacked with talent. He gets his way on through injuries 2 years in a row, and 2 years in a row he hits a home run. I could not be more pumped for that guy. Like, genuinely, I hope he sticks around a lot longer. I hope he gets an extension down the line, and I hope he ends up the starting nickel cornerback because the fire he brings to that table, the awareness, just the hustle that you don't see from a Ronald Darby, if we're brutally honest. And let's just say, it's a killer Barry for life. He just said, hang on, sorry, I've run myself out of breath. I'm really unfit. I need to go gym in the new year. You're the only YouTuber dedicated enough for me to come to your channel 10 minutes after the game, and you'll be raving your amazing thoughts and opinions. Thank you. Oh, dude, thank you so much, man. That's unbelievable. Like, that makes my night. Like, honestly, could not be more thankful for that kind of support. And same, like, people like Renee as well, and we've got, like, Patrick and Dirk, like, all the regulars that come in, like, every single week. It means everything. Like, the fact, bearing in mind, right, you've got a Sunday night game on, Seattle, San Francisco. The fact that there are 200 of you here talking about the Eagles right now, I can't put it into words. And I'm not going to get soppy just yet. All right, we've got a little bit more to go. But honestly, it's unreal. Was I able to get Eagles credentials? I mean, I can't be in England. Like, we tried to get our outlets on for training camp. I was supposed to come out for training camp this year. But given I'd only just started doing it full time, I was like, I didn't really have the money for flights and stuff. Like, it's an aim next year. It's definitely an aim. And I don't know if any of you, like, know or really care too much about this, but it's something I wanted to share with you. I promise you it's not like a brag or anything. So Philly Sports Now, as you know, been doing this 5 years now. Okay, this is my 5th year of running this. I started it in February of 2015. In 2019, we set a record on the website for 2.7 million views in a year, which is unreal. And so just looking at it now, we published 2,000 articles. Like, that's amazing. And we wouldn't be doing that if you guys didn't read the content, if you didn't enjoy it. And again, everything we do is all for you. Like, it's just all in every single time. Like, I love you all so damn much. I promise I'm trying to get soppy yet. I'm trying not to get soppy. I know we've got a couple more people in Discord and stuff. But I did just want to take a moment to say, like, That's unreal. Like, that's a mountain I never thought I could climb. Like, I'm glad it wasn't 3 million, but that's like the inner little underdog in me trying to spur me on and, work myself into oblivion. But the fact that you guys care that much is unreal. Yeah, I mean, I'll go through that in a soppy speech. Like, I mean, obviously I got to go to Prague, cover the Flyers. Like, our team has been accredited with the Flyers for 3 years now. But yeah, right, before I get too soppy and start crying in front of 250 people, which really would be the epitome of my brand, let's bring on someone else. Now, I know that Geordie likes going last. We'll bring in Isaac, who I know hasn't been here for a little while. So, Isaac, hello, are you here?
Oh, Liam, hi.
Hi, how are you doing? Oh my God, I just realised that your voice sounds so similar to mine. I was like, wow, so I'm not alone. How are you doing?
I'm a 15-year-old Liam.
Right, don't say that. Lie. Say you're 25 and make me feel a bit better about it, at least. How are you feeling after the game?
I'm feeling so happy. I am on the high of the season.
Okay. So tell me your immediate thoughts after the game.
Well, I want to see who we face. I actually want Seattle, contrary to popular belief.
Okay.
What?
Hi.
I think that we should just party until next week.
Yeah.
And I think that we should troll Dallas.
Oh, for sure. No, I mean, hey.
Orlando Skandrick is on Undisputed tomorrow.
No, he's not, is he?
Yes, he is.
Are you telling me I've got more TikTok content ready to go? Because
yes.
I'll be there.
Yes, you do.
I mean, for anyone who doesn't follow the Philly Sports Network, TikTok, it's basically OnlyFans if it was for Philadelphia sports. Like, it is the most shocking content you'll ever see, but it works. so we keep going with it. I'm going to be all in on that. I cannot wait to see what he's got to say. That'll be fun. So okay, let's get. How far do you think this team can go in the playoffs?
So if everything goes right, if we get Seattle and then we get Deshaun back in the divisional round, and then we have the 49ers, I think at the very least we're going to the NFC Championship game.
Okay. That's two people that have said championship now. That's two people. I like that. I like the belief. I respect the hustle. Okay, I mean, so what are your predictions for... I mean, we know that you want Seattle. Is there a particular area that you think will have the upper hand in?
Basically the fact that, we'll have Seattle at home rather than them away.
That's true.
Because, if it's flipped, right? We have the 49ers at home. Woo, we beat... but then also, you have to go to Seattle in January against Russell Wilson. That's scary. I do not like that at all. So that's one thing. The other thing, they have a bunch of injuries and they have no clue what to do with this Robert Turbin guy and Marshawn. Yeah, beast mode.
Yeah, that's that guy. Just that guy. Just little Marshawn.
Just Marshawn with but he's getting a little older. I haven't watched the game, so I have no clue how the heck they're playing. But
it's not going well.
I think that if we take Seattle at home, we can beat them. And it would be. We also haven't faced Seattle in the playoffs either. And,
true.
I mean, it's a different atmosphere and if you think about it, last time Seattle came to here at home, we were only down like a touchdown.
Yeah, that and the offense just died. So if it doesn't do that, they've got a shot.
And I think they will show up because whatever Carson injected into himself, his offensive line, his receivers, whatever happened. And I think we could win this. We could truly win this game.
Yeah.
And then we have the 49ers away. They have a really good defense, but I think you brought on other guys who probably said this. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's you can get him. You saw the defensive line this game. They were getting at Daniel Jones. There was 3 or 4 sacks today, by a bunch of guys. It was awesome. The D-line was stacked. Yeah. And I really do think that we could take them on. Mm-hmm. We will have to watch out for Richard Sherman. But other than that,
I think
take them. And we'll have Deshaun.
Yeah, that will be the thing. if I'm in that situation as a coordinator or coach and I'm thinking, right, look at the state of that San Francisco secondary, the one guy I'm attacking is a Kelly Weatherspoon. Because he's been, and I love him, right? If anyone, this is old school PSN, 2 years ago now, but I made a draft document, what it was called the cornerback consensus. It was basically my own little scouting book on every single corner in that draft class. And for me, Akella Weatherspoon and Chidobe Awuzie were like my two favourites. Like I loved them both. And this is like Kravon level crush I had on these guys, right? I wanted the Eagles to get them so bad. And Witherspoon for me this year has been so up and down. And it's not all on him. Again, it's sort of like an Eagles thing where some of it is scheme and some of it he's hurt himself. But he hasn't been very good at times. If there's anyone I'm going to target and I'm going to attack and I've got Deshaun Jackson available, just don't go Sherman's way. Like, forget that side of the field. Like, just put a placeholder out there. Like, stick Arcega-Whiteside out there. Let him run around for a bit. And go all in over there. Get the tight ends involved. And more than anything, just get someone on George Kittle the whole game. Like, stick Malcolm Jenkins on him. Give him a little bit of help over the top. Just do something to take that threat away. If you can force the ball down one side of the field, like get every run going that way, get Miles Sanders outside zone every time, then take away George Kittle, you've got a shot. Like, I mean, Deebo Samuel's a concern, especially if you don't, I hate to say that of Darby, but he's a speedster. You kind of want a rapid corner on him, and Darby's the only one they've got. That's going to suck. So you're going to be stuck with, realistically, like an off-coverage Resula Douglas expecting safety help. That's going to be tricky.
Resula this game was balling.
Oh, for sure.
Don't tell me anything about Resula Douglas.
Hey! I've been standing Resula Douglas for years. I'm like his number through all the turmoil. Everyone's jumped off the ship, and it's now just a little raft, and it's me just chugging along on this little raft through the water. I love Resula. I mean, I would prefer him to move to safety. That would have been the move that I would have gone with, like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. But there was some, a couple of there was a really bad flag that killed a drive. That sucked. There was like another flag he got, and then there were a couple plays he gave up. But other than that, he was faultless. Like, and that's like saying other.
He was breaking passes up.
Yeah.
He was on top of guys. He was in frame. Lee,
Yeah.
do you understand this?
He was in frame.
In the frame.
I could see him on my screen.
He wasn't even in frame for most of the plays. That who was the receiver? That's my sister. He was in frame for the plays. And I was so happy. And he was breaking passes up, and he was doing good things for this team.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
Could not be happier for him. Could not, and I hope he continues it. Like, I would love to see Resula Douglas as a starting corner. I'm sick of off seasons where it's Resula Douglas is being shopped around at the NFL draft. That's happened twice in a row, and I'm sick of it already. I don't want to see it a third time. In a way, he was like their most valuable trade asset. Like, if I was Resula Douglas, I would have been so pissed off. Like, and again, like, so from what I understand, and this is from talking to a few different people, like, please don't take this for, cemented. Like, it's from what I know, right? Where 2017, he comes in, Ronald Darby goes down in week 1, he plays a fairly good first half of a rookie year, and gets sort of attacked a bit. Ronald Darby comes back, goes in and lays an egg, and Resula Douglas gets a bit upset about this. He's like, just put me back in. Like, I'm clearly doing better. Like, Ronald's not 100% healthy. Get me in. That didn't sit down too well with Jim Schwartz. Had a bit of a squabble about, I don't know how big this squabble was. I'm assuming no fisticuffs. And what happened then was Resula Douglas got pushed so far down the bottom of the depth chart that by the time they needed cornerback depth next year, they literally bought, I forget his name, but they bought him in off the streets. Some random guy that had worked with the team before. He gets put into a game, runs into Jordan Hicks and falls over. Like, this is the level of player that we're talking before giving Resula Douglas a shot, just to make a point, right? Resula goes back in, becomes a tackling machine, mauls everyone in his way, and gets benched again when Ronald Darby comes back. So then after not being traded this season, he comes back into 2019 as a starter, and I don't think he's quite there yet. And he got hurt a bit. There was a lot of it on, like the scheme and that sort of thing. And then he gets taken out, and Ronald Darby comes back again, and he's sat there like, well, what am I supposed to do? Goes back into the game again this week and makes an impact. And I honestly, if he doesn't get a starting gig this week, I'm just like, get me somewhere where I can start, because there has to be somewhere. Like, I'm not that bad. You were going for Ronald Darby over me every single time. Just put me in, get rid of him. And that was a very angry rant. I'm sorry for answering your question in 15 minutes. But that's everything I know about the Resula Douglas situation. There you go.
No, it's good.
All right. So
we have I think, Seattle and 49ers with Deshaun Jackson. And here's a point that I'd like to make. I'm hoping, so basically teams would be confused as soon as we get Deshaun Jackson. Because of the fact that, so they've been a dink and dunk offense coming into this game. Now they have Deshaun Jackson. So what do we do? Do we put a safety at the top, or do we keep the underneath stuff locked up?
Yeah.
Because they really wouldn't know. They'd be like, okay, but then Deshaun could go up. But also Miles could go off, or Boston could go off on a screen. If we confuse teams. I feel like as soon as we get out of the wild card round, we'd be the team nobody would want to play.
Yeah, that's it. I think that this Eagles offense, bizarrely, is looking more dangerous now than it probably did in week 1, which is a sentence I really didn't think I'd be saying at this point in the year. But I'm all for it. I'm very excited to see what happens next. And do you know what? Come win or loss next week, right? Whether it ends on a dramatic high or a bit of heartbreak, I don't think anyone can look at this and be upset. Unless they literally throw the game away, we can be upset about that individual game. But this in itself is an achievement beyond expectation, given how much they've pushed through this year. So whether they get blown out or they do the blowing out or it's somewhere in between, I think we can just be grateful that the biggest takeaway, we've found the future of the franchise. We've found our quarterback. That's the guy that has now taken ownership of this team, rallied everyone around him, and we've gone on to prove something and make a statement. And now Pederson has done 3 playoffs in a row. That's all you could ask for. I'm very happy with it. That's my biggest takeaway.
This season is going to make Carson the most dangerous quarterback in the NFL come next season.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Because here's why. He got us to the playoffs on a 4-game stretch with a bunch of practice squad guys off the bench.
Yep.
A bunch of Walmart workers.
Yep.
Right? Deck chairs and lawn benches. All right? And he got us here, and we're 9-7, and we're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And if Carson beats at least one team in the playoffs, it'll be monsters, right? Because then again, we beat a really good team, 11-5 team in Seattle, or 12-4 team in 49ers, with a bunch of practice squad guys and Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane. And then next season, which please, Howie, do something. Get us receivers, right? Next season, hopefully we get stacked again. And hopefully we get a new medical staff. Again, for the 4th time in a row.
But yes, okay. I mean, they've got to get it right, one of them, right?
Right, yeah. So we get stacked again. Wentz has elite receivers, or receivers that have played in the league before. And we just, almost every game could be a blowout because he's already done it with a bunch of small guys, with a bunch of guys that nobody knows. You do it with some people that some people know. I don't know what's going to happen because Carson Wentz is doing so good right now. And if you give him bigger names, he could be the most elite quarterback in the NFL.
Do you know what, the best thing I could do if I was a head coach right now is whatever move you're going to make for an offense. Take Carson Wentz to the damn Senior Bowl. Take him to whatever, the East-West Shrine game. Take him to every player interview ever, every coach interview, and have him be part of it. Have him sit in and get to know that player. Right? And he can find out character-wise, hey, do you want to have it like the NBA? Go and recruit them. Go and recruit the guys you want, right? And then you don't have any of this anonymous source stuff. You don't have any of this, Orlando Scandrick level BS. You don't have anyone running to, the Philly Inquirer going, oh, Carson's naughty. None of that. That stops. And you get guys that want to play for him and play for this team and are bought into that culture. And that's the foundation to build around. But Isaac, I totally agree with what you're saying. Thank you for coming on to this show. I can't believe we are here at, it's 3 a.m. here, so it must be 10 p.m. there? 8, 9, 10?
Yeah, it's 9:59, so it's
close. 10, yeah. Very close. If anyone wants to follow you on Twitter or get in contact, how can they do so? If they're going to be nice only. We don't want mean people.
So my Twitter is at Isaac the Sword. That's basically it. That's really all I want to plug. And before I leave, I want to leave you guys on one note.
Okay.
Carson.
Yeah.
I think Howie should just take Carson, right?
Yeah.
And make him select whoever we pick in the first round of the draft.
Yeah, I'll just have him walk up to the podium. Have him walk up.
Just one. He's like, sorry, Roger, I gotta take this.
So normally, like, what they do is in day 3, they go to like a fire brigade or a school or a hospital, and they get like someone that's done something for the community to announce the pick. Dress Carson up in 3 different outfits. Just have him there, like, and do that.
Yeah, just put Carson in a bunch of different costumes.
Yeah, and then what can go wrong?
On day 1, Carson can literally just go into whatever Jason Kelsey wore.
Yeah, just do that.
And he comes onto the stand and he's like, for the first pick of the 2020 NFL Draft, the Eagles select CD Lamb.
That is music to my ears, and that's where we're gonna. That's the best thing you could have possibly said. So Isaac, have yourself a very happy New Year. I hope you're very well behaved and don't do anything irresponsible on New Year's Eve. And I will talk to you very soon. All right.
Yeah. See you, Liam.
Thanks for all the support, man. Talk to you soon.
Yeah. See you.
You better not be irresponsible now, or I won't be happy. We're going to keep going. Guys, we've got 270 of you. This is unbelievable. Like, this is mad. And what a way to end 2019 as well. This is crazy. So again, if you're new and you're just seeing Philly Sports Network for the first time in your life, hello, how are you? Happy New Year. Hope you all had a great Christmas. The Eagles have come through and delivered the bag. If you want to stick around to this channel, it would be greatly appreciated. We love you. I'm going to get soppy and probably cry because there's so many of you at this point. If you could subscribe, it would be unbelievably appreciated. We want to build the biggest community we can. Again, we've got Eagles Film Room, so we've got film content, we've got podcasts, we've got live streams after every single game. We want to get live streams going like post games or even watch alongs, so during the game for Sixers games, Phillies games, Flyers game, any game really. We're going to have a gaming section launching soon. We've got basically everything you can imagine, like daily YouTube content for your favourite Philly sports teams. Come in here. PhillySportsNetwork.com is where you can find all of our stuff all throughout the week. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, because it's not down there, at Liam Jenkins PSN, and I'll say hello to you on there as well. But this is blowing my mind, honestly. And I know we've got Geordie waiting in Discord. If anyone else does want to join the Discord server, we really made this to try and... Sorry, I'm running out of breath again. To bring this community together. Like, we've got nearly 15,000 subscribers. We want to bring as many of you in one place as possible and get you involved. Like, we're basically nothing without you, you know, like that. And I always say that, and I'm not going to get soppy now, but like, we're not. Like, these live streams don't happen unless you don't watch them. I can't make videos if you don't watch them or write articles. I can't do this for a job without your support. And it is the most humble feeling imaginable to know that there is a community this strong. Like, there is a Sunday night football game on that directly pertains to who the Eagles are going to play in the playoffs. And we've got nearly 300 of you sat here talking Eagles with me. And I could not be happier. It is unbelievable. Like, thank you so much for all of the support. And if you want to join that Discord, maybe you're like me. Like, hey, I work all the time. No one in England really cares about American football apart from me. Well, that's, you know what I'm saying. So in terms of talking to people, I don't have a lot of people to talk to it about or like to express my love for the Eagles about. So the Discord server, you've got everyone here who can go into Discord. You can chat with them. You can meet new friends. And holy tits, we're almost at 300. This is a bit wild. I'm actually shook at this point. I don't really know what to expect. The nurses' office has been extremely busy this year, but playoffs and sorry, the office has been locked with the sign playing completely. But yeah, can we just appreciate the fact that the Eagles had a player waiting to go into the medical tent? I can't get that. That the only place you ever see anything like that is if you're going into a public toilet and you walk in there and someone's at the urinal and you go in, you're like, oh, you're right. Is anyone? Oh, Craig's in there, is he? Yeah, I've hurt my shoulder. 5 minutes. All right, yeah, no worries, boss. I'll go play another drive. Yeah, don't worry. I'll go play. Like, that's shocking. That is absolutely shocking. To San Francisco up 13-0. So obviously the Eagles, I believe, play the loser of that game, if I'm not mistaken, which means we play Seattle, I think. Right? Again, if I'm wrong, correct me. I might have got that wrong. Could Boston Scott be our new X Factor? No Pro Sports. Thank you so much for coming in, man. It's amazing to see you, and I know you're one of our regulars. I think so. He's definitely got that that I think redeeming quality about him, isn't he? Like, and again, like we've gone through all the film rooms and we know how much he brings to the table, but it's shocking. Like, it is absolutely amazing. Like the little spin move out of nowhere, that little bit of swagger he had in the open field. You love to see it. I was absolutely elated with that. I can't believe I've been in nearly 2 hours now. That is amazing. If we could get this stream to 100 likes, we're on 98. There's 284 of you. I know not all of you are subscribed. If you could just turn that great thumb blue, that'd be brilliant. That'd be 100 likes on this stream with that many people watching. Like, we're ending 2019 on the highest note possible. Killer for Life, Berry, the best way to do it is to join that link there. There is a channel called Waiting Room. So if you scroll down, it's called Waiting Room. Join there. You can come in, say hello. We'll have a little chat about the Eagles. I'm going to try and keep this going for as long as I can before I burn out, because I'm not losing 288 people. We're going to try and give you as much content as you can possibly consume. Coach is not missing talent, just trotting out. Yeah, that's... I don't think it's that. It's more, if you're going to pay someone that kind of money, you want them to perform. But hey, right, Bleeding Green. Oi, it was a lovely spin move, right? It doesn't matter who he spun off. He made that carbon dioxide look silly. Look absolutely silly. And that is all that matters. So, Boston Scott had a career game. And not only that, but I mean, he only had 54 rushing yards on, I think it was 19 rushing attempts. He went out and just blew up in terms of receiving. So I think he had another 70 odd receiving yards. I think he led the team on receiving. Oh my God, we actually at 100 likes as well. You guys are unreal. I'm going to get soppy. I'm going to start crying in a minute, aren't I? But I think I might have to in a minute. I know we've got someone that wants to come into the Discord. You can see the tears now, for crying out loud. So I'm trying not to get too soppy and emotional about 2019 and give you the big speech, but it might come a bit sooner than you think, considering we're that close to 300 people watching. So we'll try and keep it as Kravon related as we can. We'll bring Geordie into the chat now, because I know you've been waiting for a while. Then that means if I do cry, at least we've spoken to everyone, and I'm not going, oh, welcome into the chat, it's Geordie. At least we get that out of the way. All right, at least we do that. Lorenzen Henderson, nice to see you in the stream, my man. Thank you. PSN After Dark is very rapidly approaching 105 at 287 of you. I swear, you will not find a fan base more diehard than the Philadelphia Eagles. And the fact that we can call a tiny chunk of you the Philly Sports Network community makes my life. Steve Morrow, thank you so much. And to you and your family as well, Steve. I hope everyone in this chat has a happy new year. I'll get my stop out the way in a minute. Don't you worry, it's coming. So, Geordie Fighter, he's in it. He's been waiting all night long to come and say hello. How are you doing, Geordie?
Good.
Yeah? All right. And what are your thoughts after the Eagles game?
One point of interest was after that fumble, the defense kind of brought new life.
Yeah, I think that definitely set a catalyst. Like before that, you could feel momentum almost drifting a bit. Like the sacks were there on defense, they were doing everything they could, and then it just felt like suddenly it started to evaporate, and the Giants had a bit of a lifeline. And the second Malcolm Jenkins went flying through, knocked that ball away. Cox falls on it, takes it all the way to the end zone. It just sent a surge. I always thought this game was gonna come down to a turnover. It just come down to whoever did the turnover first. You could feel it. It was either it was going to be the Eagles corners picking it off, or it was going to be Carson Wentz trying to do a little bit too much, which he didn't do. Fair play to him. You could just feel like it was one of those sticky games, like they always are with the Giants, where it'll be one turnover that would decide it all. And I'm so happy it went in the Eagles' favor.
Part of the demoralizing thing was when Barkley scored that, it was 50-plus yard touchdown. That was one big point.
Oh, it was straight after as well, wasn't it? It was literally like the drive after the Eagles had just gone all the way down the field, scored an amazing touchdown. Spirits were high. The Boston Scott praise was red raw. Everyone's buzzing. And then literally, 2 plays later, Saquon Barkley, he waves as he's going down the sideline as well. And you're watching it and your heart sinks and you're like, oh, back to square one. It's like conceding a kickoff goal on FIFA if anyone plays that.
Yeah, and then Brandon McLeod, when Barkley went to run, he got caught behind a block.
Yeah.
And I think if he hadn't been caught behind that block, I think he 100% would have gotten close to making the tackle or made the tackle.
Yeah, and do you know what? I think if that's our biggest criticism from this game, that it was one stray play from what is arguably a generationally talented running back, then they've done all right. Do you know what I mean? It could be worse. So the Eagles realistically contained Saquon Barkley all game long. He had no running room whatsoever. accept that one run, which I think is a pretty good day at the office.
Yeah, and they only allowed a total of 423 yards.
Yeah, for what it was, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the points matter. And the fact, I mean, if you come in off that Cowboys game where they allowed nothing but 3 field goals, like didn't allow a single touchdown, buttoned up Ezekiel Elliott, they do the same to Saquon Barkley. I mean, Daniel Jones, I mean, obviously, comes through and makes almost an identical play, and it's Golden Tate of all people. But, like, over the last month or so, I think this team has built such an identity about itself that at this point, I mean, like, hey, look how many yards they conceded in the Super Bowl. Like, this whole mentality has been bend but don't break. Like, they don't really care how many yards they give up so long as they win that football game. And I think we're really starting to see that now. Like, hey, if you can, Dallas could have had 600 yards. If they'd have only scored 3 field goals, you take it every day of the week.
Yeah, and it was a big night for the defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Brandon Graham. I mean, I favoured that matchup earlier this week. So the Giants came into it. Mike Remmers was down. So they were down to Nick Gates, their backup right tackle who was undrafted last year. He came into this on the injury report. He was a limited participant in practice all week long. So it was a favourable matchup. Like, they must have been licking their lips at that, right? Like, it had to have smelt blood in the water. And they just attacked it. There were blitzes all night long. There were stunts. It was just kitchen sink. And they abused that offensive line. And they really made life uncomfortable for Daniel Jones. I mean, that for me is the best I've seen that defensive line play in maybe 6 weeks. Like, maybe 6, maybe even more than that.
Yeah, and like 2 weeks ago, it may have been last week, I don't know, but I was in stream and I said Fletcher Cox wasn't very noticed, and the line was kind of quiet. Yeah, This game kind of ruined my point.
Yeah, and then you've got Timmy Jernigan as well, like blowing up and doing bits. Like, they had a hell of a play to get behind the line of scrimmage, and I think if he's healthy, the Eagles, I mean, it's so annoying that he's battled the health issues he has, because I think you've really got a case for someone that is a really dominant partner to Fletcher Cox as like a run-stuffing defensive tackle, and there was no better example of that than what we saw today.
Yeah, and this line has really missed a second defensive tackle that paired with Fletcher Cox, it'll be a pick your poison, do double team one or the other. And it was supposed to be Malik Jackson.
Yeah, and I mean, I was so gutted about that, because obviously I did the film room on this channel, was buzzing to see what he could do as someone that could play the 3 and the 5 tech in Jacksonville and really thrive doing it. To come into this team, it felt like a dream fit, like it was the perfect fit on paper. I was gutted to see him go down with injury, so like hopefully they're getting back next year and he comes back better than ever, and like Jernigan can get brought back. I know he was so angry when he signed the deal originally this year. But we'll see. I think they'll definitely bring some extra bulk. I know like Anthony Rush, like again another draft crush here, has done alright for himself out of UAB, like that big mauling monster. So we'll see. But I think overall, like there's a lot to like with this team. There's a lot to like, and I think especially on that defensive line, now they're beginning to find their feet a little bit. As you go into the playoffs, like December football, I think Pederson's 12-2 in December. I think I saw earlier today. Like you can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, and this is the first game. This is one of only a couple games that a linebacker has actually led the team in tackles in the game.
Yeah.
Bradham had 10 total tackles.
I think Captain Craven had 8 as well. Bless him. He was. I'm just running like Captain Craven now, aren't I? But yeah, I mean, there was one. I mean, that play against Saquon Barkley was a bit of a stinger for sure. But overall, like after how much criticism the linebacker corps faced this year, to come back in the way they have. Like, big game. Absolutely right. So, Geordie, right, I need your prediction now. If it is going to be Seattle that the Eagles play, which is looking increasingly likely, do you think they'll come out and win the game?
If they play Seattle, I think they can win. If they play San Fran, it's not looking the best.
Okay, all right. I don't know. See, I'm on the fence with both. I mean, it's weird. There's pros and cons. I think the Eagles match up better with San Fran. I would like to see them beat Seattle just to get that kind of off of their back, to get kind of the camel off the back sort of thing, but only time will tell. Geordie, thank you for coming on this show again. You've been an absolute star, like one of our biggest supporters all year long. I don't think you've missed a single video, single article, single tweet. You've been an absolute MVP from day one. How can people follow you on Twitter?
Yeah, my Twitter which is the same as my YouTube. I have Discord.
So I'll be Geordie Fighter 141.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Well, listen, Geordie, have the happiest of New Year's. I hope you're very well behaved on New Year's Eve and don't party too much. Honestly, again, thank you for all of your support, man. All the best for 2020, and we'll see you again next week. Can we start 2020 with a win? We'll see, but we'll start it with a post-game stream, and we'll see you in it, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
You too.
There we go. All right, so we've got Dominic Berry who's in the call as well. So he's in the waiting room. Well, I think this is the most guests we've ever had. 293 of it. If we can get to 300 viewers, I might actually just break down and cry. Like, forget the soppiness. I'm just going to cry anyway. So Seattle have just scored. We've been informed in the live chat. Seattle have live. Do we place an in-play bet? That's the question. That's what we care about. Do we place a little bit of the bag on Seattle? And, we go for that backdoor cover? I don't know. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But if Seattle can get back in this game, I would love to see, so I think the San Fran matchup for me, if they get Deshaun Jackson back and they can really attack Witherspoon, is the matchup I want to see. I think the defensive line's to me a problem. That's where the Brandon Brooks thing's going to hurt, because you know how good that defensive front that San Fran have really are. In terms of everything else, it's going to be a shit. I don't know. I'm buzzing for it. Either way, it'll be one hell of a game of football. Bleeding Green says, everyone hit that like button, support you, man. Oh, dude, that means a lot, man. Thank you so much. A little bit, I can do it in a little bit of the bubbly voice, but I'll probably blow my voice box at this point. Yeah, guys, if again, there's nearly 300 of you. This is mad. If you're new around here again, and you could hit that subscribe button and you enjoy this sort of thing. Again, we've got film breakdowns on this channel. There's daily content. I promise, but basically as much content as I can properly give you, right? Is there. I'll do everything I can. I have done it all year. We'll do it next year. We're going above and beyond. And I promise you, again, film breakdowns, draft profiles, interviews, podcasts, collaborations, you know it. We just want to be the best Philly channel we can. We want to be the home for all of you. And if that ticks over 300, I will have... Oh, he's done it! 300! I am shook. That's mad. That is actually mad. I am absolutely gobsmacked. Unbelievable. Oh, it's gone down now. Never mind. But I got it on picture, so joke's on you, whoever left, just to prove a point. But we're going to get Dominic in a minute, and then I think I'm going to get a bit soppy, because we have spoken about Kravon LeBlanc. We've spoken about Boston Scott. We've spoken about Carson Wentz. We've done the entire brand, all right, while this game is on in the background. And it's about time you guys get the big soppy thank you. Antoine Hayes, man, thank you so much for coming on and viewing this stream. It means a lot. We're going to get Dominic in. I know, bless him, he's been trying to get in all night long. Dominic, are you here? Maybe. Oh, we're thinking. Dom, it's Liam. Oh, he's got. Oh, it's okay. We'll get there. It's all right. We'll figure it out. It'll all be okay. So in the meantime, while that's working, let me just take you back on a little bit of a journey. Okay, so 20. This is going to kind of ruin the end of year video anyway, which is going to be made probably the 31st. I mean, because that would make sense, right, for an end of year video. That's sort of the whole point, really. But start of the year, right, I was working at a retail store that was an hour away from my house, okay? I've done Philly Sports Network for 5 years. Could barely afford to live. There was a point in time, this is not even a joke, okay, where I had to get a train to work, right? I knew going to work that day, I didn't have enough money to get to work. I couldn't afford the train ticket. I would have gone outside of my overdraft and owed the bank whatever the charge was. And I kind of have to do it. So I went to the train machine to buy a ticket, and there was a ticket already pre-bought in there. And I was like, something's watching over me this year. The exact route I'm going on, so the town I live to the town I'm going, a return journey. I was like, someone is watching over me this year. All right, that was January. I begin to really hate that job, because I'm trying to do all as PSN continued to grow. This year, it snowballed so much. And I was having to basically get up at 5 a.m. I'd get home at 8 p.m. I'd work before work, on my lunch break, and after work waiting for the train. Get home, work till 3 in the morning, pass out, and then wake up and do it again. So I was dead. I was burning out everywhere. My bosses hated it. I hated them because I didn't hate them. There was one that was horrible to me. The rest of them were alright. And then in April, I literally told myself the first time I make enough money to quit, just 1 month's paycheck, I'm out. I'm done. That's it. I'm going all in. And April happened. So the month of my birthday, I turned 24. I left that job, went all in. And it's been a roller coaster since, you know, like we're now nearly on 15,000 subscribers. The website, as I said, like I think that's nearly on 3 million views for the year. And I'm a full-time, whatever the hell I want to call this job. I don't know what it is. Like, I guess it's business owner. Like, I would say beat reporter, but I'm technically not in the country. I would say video maker, but I do other stuff. I would say podcaster, but do you know what I mean? So like, basically everything. And it wouldn't be possible without you guys. Like, for me, this has been the hardest. As much as it's been the best year of my life. Like, I got to go to Prague, cover the Philadelphia Flyers at that home opener. Like, the season opener, cover a hockey game. Like, all I wanted to do was see my name on that press credential under my own outlet. Like, and it was such a chip on the shoulder for 5 years to prove to everyone that was like, stick to soccer, voice is too high pitch. What does a British kid know? Oh, he was 19 5 years ago. What does he care? You can't do this, can't do that, shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. This guy's better. That website's better. We're going to hire them. They've got more money. They've got a better podcast. Like, I didn't care. I just wanted to do me, and I wanted to have fun, and I loved it. And I got to go there and just say, hey, do you know what? PSN belongs in this industry. Like, PSN has a home on this industry, all right? Like, we are doing something here. And then this happened. The community happened. Like, we start the LJ thing. I got a nickname out of nowhere, which I detested at first. And then I realised, like, oh, they accept me. And like I said, but as much as it's been the best year, I've had so much to grow because all of a sudden there's a stress of, you know, carrying a company and having like 30 writers to look after and keep motivated and keep working and all the bills and the tax and the promotion and the socials. Like, it's mad. And I would never ever say I don't enjoy it. I love every second. But I had to grow into that and stop being someone that worked at a retail store and did this for fun and become someone where my full-time job is running this business. And over the last 6 months or so, like, I'd like to think I've become a very different version of me. I'm still me. I still make all the bad analogies. I still have all the bad love story problems. I still am a pain in the ass on social media. But I'm a little bit more mature, like methodical and stuff. And I think mental health-wise took a massive knock towards the end of the year and had to kind of build back up. And I wouldn't have done that without you. Like, I sit here on a night like tonight and I see 300 people in a live stream when there is a Sunday night football fixture on, right, in a game that, again, directly pertains to the Eagles. Directly, right, as to who they'll play. And there are 300 of you watching this, liking this stream. And it blows my mind. Like, this is more than I could have ever asked anyone for or dreamt of. Like, I always told myself it takes 5 years to blow up overnight, like a rapper I knew. I say that like I know, like a guy I know that also raps that is quite good at it, told me that once. And I stuck by it. And on year 5, here we are. And I just wanted to say a massive, massive thank you to every single one of you. Because you know what? Whether you love PSN, whether you hate PSN, whether you just sometimes pass it by and go, oh, British guy again. Like, whatever it is, like, you've made my life. It's that simple. Like, I don't have anything without you guys. And I know a lot of YouTubers just say it and then they don't really bother. But that's why we have the Discord. That's why we have these live streams so I can talk to you directly and show you, I guess, the journey that we're on. And we want to build this for you. Like, everything we do, every day I wake up and it's like, what do they want to see? What do they want to read? What film room do they want? And it's trying to do the best I can for you every single day. And you'll never get any less than that. It will always be the best I've got about this team and finding new ways to cover the Eagles, whether it's videos, whether it's film rooms, whether it's podcasts, whether it's trying to blur those lines between things. But I want to keep pushing boundaries. I want to make you the center of it. And I would love for you to be a part of this community. So just more than anything, before we bring in our final guest on the Discord server, I just hope you'll have the happiest of New Year's. I hope you got to spend Christmases with those that you loved. And if you weren't able to, then my DMs are always open if you want to chat. And you've got the Discord server full of a full community of loving Eagles fans as well. Like, just thank you so damn much. Kiri is on a flight home and is in the stream. This is unreal. Like, this stream, it blows my mind. I couldn't be more humbled at the numbers that we're seeing right now. So just a massive thank you from me. And I say it every week, but, you know, PSN season that's on the merchandise, it's always, you know, like the whole point of PSN season is that it's our season, right? And that's not selfish. I'm not that lack of self-aware where I'll make merch and be like, oh, you're wearing something that says PSN season. It's, oh, no, PSN season is for everyone. And it's a sentiment of like, hey, do you know what? If I, at the time, a 19-year-old British kid can get to this point after 5 years, and everyone doubted and everyone giving up, and all of my friends taking the piss and taking the joke, and like everyone I work with not caring, and like all that stuff, and get to here, like, then you can do it. You can go and get that degree. You can go and get the girl you want. You can go and play that sport you want to do. You can try out for that team you want to try. You can pick up that hobby. You can start that YouTube channel. You can do your thing and you can smash it. And that's what PSN season is. And that's all I want it to be. So that in 6 months' time, you've bought a PSN shirt and say, hey, I wear this because it makes me feel empowered to go and do that. That's what it's all about for me. And it's so much bigger than just a channel that talks about the Eagles now. And I just could not be more thankful for every single one of you that is standing up right now. So, before I continue getting soppy, I've almost cried twice. We're going to bring in Dominic, who I know is sat here watching this stream. So, Dominic, I think we've got it working. Dom, are you in the chat?
Yeah, hello.
We've got him! Right, here he is, Dom Berry. I know he's been here all night. I'm so sorry for keeping you for so long. I got a little bit carried away with soppy speeches.
Hello, how's it going?
It's good. How are you feeling after the game?
I'm feeling great. These last couple games have just been so refreshing for these fans.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially after the train wreck we saw earlier in the year, right? Like, to get through all of that and come here, it's amazing.
Yeah. Like, Carson Wentz has been making a hero every week.
Yeah, I mean, I would say...
out of these young guys.
Yeah, I would say this has been the biggest... I think I've learned more about Carson Wentz in the space of this month than I have in the last 3 years. I think that the way that he's rallied those young guys together, played through the adversity, played through the injury, and just dragged that. That's the Carson Wentz fans knew he could become. This was the boy becoming a man. This wasn't elite potential. This was elite reality all of a sudden for Carson Wentz.
Yeah, and it just shuts down all the rumors of nobody in the locker room enjoying Carson Wentz and everybody liked Nick Foles better.
Yeah, and I mean, there's gonna be like, a few people that maybe disagree or like that are gonna be a little bit more on the side of Nick Foles, and that's bound to happen when you've got a locker room of 63 people, including the practice squad, 90 in the offseason. It's a pain. Like, you're gonna see people that live on that and they go, oh well, Nick this, oh we did it differently. When like you're always gonna get that with any workplace, but to come back from that and just really expand into being like, hey, do you know what? This is my team now. Then it's unreal, absolutely unreal.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can tell he's a franchise quarterback because these young quarterbacks. You think Baker Mayfield could do any of this?
I think Baker Mayfield would cry, to be honest.
He doesn't have like this team spirit. He doesn't have.
Well, that and it's like you look at the characters that he's got. I mean, like if you're trying to rally an Odell Beckham around you and he's not getting the ball, that's not a conversation you're going to win very much. You know, whereas a Greg Ward Jr. or a Robert Davis or a Josh Perkins, a young underdog who wants to prove their worth and will be thankful for every target and snap they get and will push on as a result without that kind of tantrum, like it's different. And I genuinely believe that Carson Wentz needed that infusion. He needed that kind of hunger to invigorate this offense and give him something like a foundation to build on.
It makes perfect sense. I think it's a factor of being humble or not. Odell Beckham Jr. and Baker Mayfield. This is like the perfect black and white. Odell Beckham Jr. is used to getting most of the throws from Eli Manning.
Yeah.
And it's just, he breaks down when he doesn't get a good game.
Yeah.
And these young guys that Carson Wentz is making heroes out of, they're so thankful for all the things that he's been giving them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's unbelievable. Like, it really is. And I'm so happy in a way that it has panned out that way. Like, it needed something, whether it was this year or next year, there had to be a kick at some stage. And unfortunately, it came with the expense of injuries and like a knee injury for Nelson Aguilar. But I think especially with Aguilar, it was a confidence thing the whole time. You could see it, like the second that the drop started again and those big plays were missed, that he wasn't the same player. And with Alshon, I think there was absolutely underlying frustration. And not that I'm siding with him. I think if there was any like cementation to the fact that, all right, yeah, that was him that did the leak into Josina or whoever, like that's out of order. But I can see why I'd be pissed, because you're paid like a number one receiver and then you go out and your tight end is getting record-breaking seasons left, right, and centre, and you can barely get a ball. Like, I'd understand that frustration, especially when the times you do get a ball, you're injured. But to then contrast that with what you're seeing now, and the receivers that Wentz can build up and give confidence in and say, hey, you're the guy, go out and make a play. Instead of saying that to Alshon, he's going to go, what, you're going to throw it to Zach anyway. You're taking out that petulant behaviour, and you're giving it to guys that really want the opportunity. And I can't, honestly, I'm just elated with how it's all panned out.
I think it doesn't make any sense. I think that it's a good thing for this team that Nelson Aguilar, I don't think he's getting another contract in this offseason.
Yeah, I think I'd like to think Aguilar will go now. I'd like to think that Aguilar's stint, it's met its end. They gave him the big 9.4 million, the temptation, and said, all right, let's see if you're worth that double figure, and he's not. So they're letting it go. I wouldn't surprise. I mean, I would much rather see JJ Arcega-Whiteside in the slot, come in and be a big slot guy who can just maybe like bully his way past the linebacker, create some spacing for someone like Miles Sanders. That would be the way I play it. But obviously then you've got a draft that is so heavily stacked with receivers, it's hard to justify keeping him around.
Yeah, and these young guys who they could put in a slot have so much better, how do I say this, chemistry with Carson Wentz. Did you see the Alshon Jeffery made a burner account and was criticizing Carson Wentz.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh God.
It was a whole news line. He made a whole burner account.
Oh dear. I can't say I'm shocked, but to be fair, we did find an Orlando Scandrick burner account last week, and I was responsible for that. So that's my biggest success. I take it all back. Forget the community, forget Prague, forget PSN. Finding Orlando Scandrick's burner was my biggest achievement of 2019. I'm kidding. It wasn't. It was horrible. But you never know. All right, so let's get to it. So Seattle, San Francisco. Is there a team you'd want to play? Like, forget the score right now. Is there a team you'd want to play, and why?
I think we would match up a lot better with the 49ers because our team has not had much success against Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. It's more about Seattle and the Seahawks. It's more about one-on-one matchups. Our D-line has had so much trouble gaining their hands on Russell Wilson, and he's playing the best football of his career right now. Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, Ross kind of had a little bit of a step back, I think probably like the last month or so. The fact that Seattle don't have a run game, well, obviously they got Marshall and Lynch now, but it's had to resort to that. And then obviously you've got the offensive line still being a bit of an issue. So I can see that. I just think they do match up a bit better with San Fran, but we will see in due time. Dom, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I know it took a little bit longer to get you on than anticipated. If people want to follow you on Twitter or say hello, how can they do so?
I don't own Twitter, but you can talk to me here through the Discord. And I'm always in the chats after the games, and I'm always on the video comments.
That's what we like to hear. Listen, man, thank you so much for all of your support in 2019. It means a lot to me, and I'm sure all the other PSN writers who aren't here, right, they're probably having a nap. But it means a lot to them as well. But thank you so much, man. Have a happy new year, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a happy new year. It was a fun ride.
Definitely so. Talk to you soon, man.
See ya.
There we go. I think that's it. Unless there's anyone else who wants to come in Discord. This has been the longest stream we've done all year. This is unbelievable. Bring on the Niners, says Donovan Sandcastle. I've been calling for this. Yeah, I mean, the two immediate things I see, you can exploit in a way a killer with a spoon if you're willing to send either Robert Davis deep or Deshaun Jackson deep. Like, if you've got Deshaun Jackson available, do it. If not, I think Robert Davis can get it done. I think the thing is, though, guys, I mean, like, a lot of people talking about like TV and media and that sort of thing. And I promise I'm not here saying, oh, well, Philly Sports Network. But TV, a lot of it is sensationalized because it has to be. Like, you've got to keep someone's national 3.5 million people are going to watch that. You've got to keep their attention. You've got to make it fun and energetic, and you've got to be a bit more out there with what you said. You can get away with more on TV, right? The thing with media, though, that someone told me when I first made Philly Sports Network and I first got in contact with a player, and I got a worse like an interview, is that nothing gets out in the media unless someone wants it out. Okay, so if a story comes out which is per source, think who the source would be and what, and that's your best way to evaluate it. Like, you will never see an article on Philly Sports Network that cites Jason Lackenfora. You will never see an article that says, "Oh, according." Do you know what my biggest pet peeve, right? This is a total different rant. Okay, websites, you can see when they're having a slow day. You can see when they need the hits. Because I'll put out an article and say, according to ESPN, the Eagles are good, or the Eagles are good at making the playoffs. According to this big man, the Eagles have a bad player. Like, do your own work. It's not hard. That's what your job is. Like, do you know what I mean? So, like, the thing is, they're in that spotlight. They've got stuff to say. Information's fed to them. Okay, I've had stuff fed to me. I've not sent out because I think it doesn't do any justice for anyone. It doesn't exactly, bring up any positivity. It's going to hurt something down the long run. The only story I ever really broke and was 100% in on was the Vinny Curry contract extension like a few years ago. There was one more recently with, I think it was regards to Alshon Jeffery, and it happened anyway, but I didn't really, I don't do articles like that. Like, it's too stressful because people don't believe it anyway. And it's literally, sometimes people, like an agent will put out, oh, this guy's not happy, so he goes and signs a new deal elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. So don't put too much stock into it. And I'm not here saying PSN will never put a foot wrong. We probably will. We already have. But what we will, I'm trying to see, reading all the comments. But what we will see, or what I will promise you, is that it will be honest. It will be integral. We're not going to go out and maliciously put out, oh, according to a source, this guy did this, if I don't 100% believe that that's true. So when I was talking, the last one that I was dead right on was last year with Foles on the franchise tag. And I was like, it won't happen. And I spoke to someone who had been in the room during the last tag and trade thing with the New England Patriots. And he told me why that worked and why it would never happen again. Right? And I spoke to him and he made perfect sense. I wrote an article about it. And then 2 weeks later, it doesn't happen. I was like, of course, it makes too much. But everyone else in the media is, oh, according to per source, tag and trade, per source, tag and trade, per source, tag and... Because if you say per source, it's not your word, is it? It's theirs. And you're just reporting it. And that's cheap views. So you don't get that with PSN. All right? The only stuff you get is analysis of that if it's valid. If not, we don't bother with it. Like, I will not bother clickbaiting. I use capitals in the titles to get your attention. All right? That's because I've got to get you. Hey, there's 300 of you and now it works, okay? But I won't lie. I won't clickbait and I'm going to hype stuff up that doesn't need hyping up. So that's my promise to you lot for 2019. 2020. I'll do it for 2019. You go for another day if you want. Positivity doesn't sell. The media. Yeah, it depends on the outlet, I think, to be honest. But it does grind my gears when I see other outlets. The worst one, and I don't want to slag them off because I do like their work. I'm not going to name them for the sake of that. But if you pick it up on it, you know who it is. It says it in it's all. They say a headline. They start in the morning with a headline. Like, oh, Miles Sanders is it could be rookie of the year. And you click it, and it's just a bunch of links of other people's work. Again, own work. Do it. Not hard. That's your job, isn't it? Really? But again, I'm not bitter about it. It's fine. We do things our own way. I promise I'm just not firing shots for the sake of it. But seriously though, like, if there's anything else you guys want to talk about, I know we're now 2 hours into this and there are 300 of you here. Love life not. What do you mean love life not? Oh, love, as in you want to hear about my love life, which doesn't exist? Because you can if you want. I did a thing recently in my love life, not that thing. All right, we're not talking that. I did a big, thing about not talking to people you shouldn't. I did that. All right, I cut someone out. That's the moon 2020, guys. All right, cut people out you shouldn't be talking to, as in people that are bad for your mental health. Get rid of them. They're naughty. No, we don't want them here. Get rid if you're Alshon Jeffery and Josina Andersons. We only want Greg Wards. We only want Greg Ward Juniors in 2020. No more of that. But seriously, like, yeah, this has been a mad stream. I don't want to say bye, so I'm just going to try and drag this out and be on here for as long as I actually can. We're seeing a lot about Jordan Howard, and I can't tell if you're talking about Michael Jordan or Jordan Howard or another Jordan Matthews. But Jordan Howard, I don't think is overrated. I think, if anything, he's underrated. He just battles injury, and I don't think now he's going to get a pay deal. I would love to see him brought back on a short-term deal. Rest in peace, James Love Life. But yeah, why did I read that out loud? I was like, oh. But yeah, Jordan Howard, for me, has done enough to earn a short-term deal. He's absolutely done enough to earn a short-term deal next year. I don't know what we're going to see in terms of money and stuff, but I think if you can stay healthy, you reduce the workload. Like, Miles Sanders is getting like 20 carries a game now. That's mad. Like, that is unreal. And I think that overall, that normally in this West Coast offense, like, backs tended to hit around 16 carries per game. So to see that go to 20 for Miles Sanders, who we know had low tread on the tire, like coming out of Penn State. Like, we knew that was a thing. Random Hobo says, time to start playoff bids. This is my playoff bid. There it is. You see it. There you go. So you can sponsor that if you want. That's my Movember. I love how Kiri knows exactly what I'm talking about, and I did that thing, Kiri. But I know it was a big one. But I sent a text. I was like, nah, I'm worth more than that. And I sent Alshon Jeffery packing. I was like, keep your guaranteed money, aka your new Philly Sports Network hoodie. I shouldn't have bought you, but I did anyway. And I would take McGregor Jr., aka me. Yeah, this is happening now, isn't it? But yeah, this has been an absolutely crazy stream, and I don't want to end it with 300 viewers because I feel like it's letting people down. So if there's anything else you guys want to talk about while I'm here, hit me. I'll be an open book. We haven't sung the Captain Cravon song yet, the Atomic Kitten one. So should we do that? Should we do the Atomic Kitten song? Maybe we should. Who knows? Do we think Howard could play a role in the playoffs? I do. I think he can give it a go. Like, as long as he's healthy. Like, he was active today and in the game for a bit, but didn't really do much outside of it because I don't think there was any need to. So, I don't know. Hopefully, like, you'd like to think December football against a team like Seattle or San Fran, you can go in there, make some noise and get it done. Will that happen? Or will you just ride the hot hand, as Doug said? If you put it this way, 2nd and goal at the goal line, just put Jordan Howard in there. Like, just get the thing done. Make it happen. I think all will be good for sure. That would be the way I look at it. I'm pretty sure we saved... That wouldn't surprise me if we saved him for the playoffs. Bear in mind, like, the amount of stuff they've already given up today. Like, they lost Brandon Brooks as well. If you can save as many people for the playoffs as you can, you will. Like, I feel like this is Jon Snow's army against White Walkers at this point. You're doing about as much as you can with what you got. But there isn't really too much to do, is there? So it's one of them where you don't really know what they're going to do in the playoffs. Oh, you saying Thorson? Oh, we can't do Thorson. We can't sing the Thorson song. If Silas is healthy, Eagles move on from out. Yeah, unless they bring him back for that goal line sort of role. We won't do the Thorson song. I will not subject you to the Thorson song. I promise I'm not that mean. But what I will do is give you the Atomic Kitten Captain Cravon song, which doesn't have any other words outside of the chorus. But I'll put it on anyway, because... does it have a karaoke? I'm going to find it. Give me a second. Poll again, YouTube. That's what it's called, I think. I typed in... I meant karaoke, not YouTube. There we go. Whole again, Atomic Kitten, karaoke. If you can hear this, jobs are good. And if not, I'm very sorry for what you're about to not hear. It is there. Okay. Well, we'll go in. There's 293 of you. It wouldn't be an LJ stream if I didn't make a bit of a tit of myself, would it? So if you saw the tweet earlier, you know where we're going to sing this. It's a Captain Cravon level song. He put in the performance of a lifetime today, didn't he? 3 passes defence, 8 tackles, 2 of the biggest plays of the game. That's the king we stand. That's the guy we're going to sing this song about. If you saw the tweet, sing along at home. It's New Year. We're 1 day away from a whole new year. So here we go. High pitch. Looking back on where we first met, I cannot escape and I cannot forget. Cravon, you're the one, you still turn me on. The Eagles won the East again. 1, 2. No, we'll go again. Maybe we'll go again. You'll learn a second verse if you're lucky. Have we lost 15 viewers yet? That's the question. I have a feeling we may well have done. I had a neat video idea, says Killer Life for Berry. I was thinking you could look at every game of the season, decide who was the I think you said that before. I remember reading that before. That isn't a bad idea. I rate that. It's something we could definitely look at in the off-season as like a kind of game-by-game review. I really want to do like an Eagles book that documents this year, but there are already so many of them that come out, like it makes it a bit different. Oh, there we go. I knew the viewer hit would come. I knew we'd lose a few to that. Do this 6 more times, we'll be fine. Martin Goldberg likes it. That's all we like. That's the content we come to see. Thank you for coming in, Martin. Dylan, so that's what I thought. Gregor Jr. is going to be in the slot receiver going forward. I hope so. Geordie, that's the thing. That's British humour. That's what we do better than anyone. That earned a dislike, that one. It's all about being cringy and awkward and fun and ourselves. And that's, again, when I got soppy and said, you let me be me, that's what I was talking about. Right. I've been here 2 hours. Isaac is in tears, bless him. We've got 15 more minutes, and then it's 4 a.m, and I should really probably go and get some sleep, or I'm going to wake up at 5 in the evening, and I've not got time to give you this day in Philadelphia sports then, or this week in Philadelphia sports. So, we're going to have 15 more minutes, all right? Now, we can spend this doing Captain Cravon songs. We could do Last Christmas, I Gave You My Heart, gave it to Captain Cravon, or we can talk about other things. Now, Maya makes a good point. Haven't heard them tracking the ball in 4 weeks. Very good point. Very, very good point. Can we have a highlight reel of what it sounds like a PSN highlight reel? Oh my, I wouldn't know where to start. Like, not saying there's loads of highlights, but that's a lot of content. I could do one, but I want to do this during Philadelphia sports. I might take the last 6 months of when I started that series. I think I started it in June, and then go from there. So then do January to June separate, and then pick highlights from the rest of those videos. That could work, but it's going to be 30 or 40 videos, so that could be a bit of a task. I'm convinced Ward will throw ball. I'm convinced Ward will throw the ball on a Philly special. Imagine. I don't think Carson Wentz could run a Philly special. I think it'd break my heart a little bit. That would be weird. Wouldn't it be weird seeing Carson Wentz catch a Philly special? And what if it didn't work? What if it didn't work and then you're like, oh no, it's ruined it. Then all the Foles haters will come out. All the Foles lovers will go flying through. And it'll be awful. I don't want to live in that world. Oh no. I think that play needs to be retired and put in a special glass jar. Let's talk about who gets fired first in Dallas. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be Dak Prescott, is what I meant to say. He made a very bizarre quote earlier this week. I don't know if any of you clocked it. That basically said, I think, was it I could have played my last game here? So, just saying. Again, guys, if you're new around this channel, there's still somehow 287 of you. I'm sure not every single one of you is subscribed. If you could subscribe, that would be amazing. I just sung Atomic Kitten for you. All right, if you can hit that subscribe button or leave a like if you don't want to subscribe, either one would be absolutely brilliant. It's the best way to support this channel. My Twitter is @LiamJenkinsPSN if you want to follow that as well. DeMarcus Lawrence and Zeke stealing money. Yeah, they handled that situation so bad, but that's what makes it funny, isn't it? So it's what you love to see. But I've just got on. Someone just messaged me on Facebook, one of my friends, and put, "Jesus, Liam, that song is something else." I'm glad he liked it. Glad that the brand is thriving and that I still can't sing, and that's the content that we all come for. Do you think there's another under the radar player that will shine in the? Oh, good question. Since I'm the underdog brandy, I guess. I like TJ Edwards. I think he's done some nice things. I know Thomas is really high on him. I love Alex Singleton, but he's a core special teamer, so he doesn't really get a lot on defense, barring injury. I think outside of the guys that are already shining, it's really hard because they literally all are doing so well. I would probably lean on Josh Perkins, maybe. The fact that he went out and caught a touchdown, got the chip off his shoulder. I love that. Outside of that, maybe Boston Scott again. It's all the same names, just kind of rotated. Bleeding Me says, you're a beast doing this at 5 a.m. Liam, love your channel. You'll be a huge star if that's what you want. Do you know what, Bleeding Green? That means the world to me. All I want is this channel and my business to keep growing. If I can do this full time, I'm happy. And a lot of people come and they're you could go on TV. Or don't forget us when you're on TV. It's I don't want TV. I want PSN. And if we can get our own network where we stream games one day, then hell yeah. I'm all in on that. But I don't want to dip that. I've spent 5 years building this. This is my baby, you guys, well, I'm going to make that analogy, but it's all together. Again, 5 years building that, I'm not walking away from it. It took me 5 years to get to this point. I'm not walking away from that now. I want to push it as far as it can. I want to take over so that we don't have to read a headline and see an article of just links from other websites. I want to see, or per source, or this ESPN said this player is really good. No, I want an answer to, hey, this player is really good. Here's why. Here's a video. Here's an article. Here's a podcast. That's what I want. And to have a family at PSN like we do with our writers, to have all of you guys here, that's the dream. So I'm not really too concerned with TV or leaving anywhere else. I just want this. I just want PSN. I just want you guys. I just want to stream at 4 a.m. I just want to talk about the Eagles. I just want to do this every day. LG want to me. LJ want to. Oh, I don't want Rupert Red. I will Drake voice. I can do Drake voice probably. More Eagles film study appreciated. It takes a lot of work. Oh, dude, I totally agree, Martin. I totally agree. The problem is that I try to do one a week for the games. During the off season, it'll get a lot easier. But to keep this sustainable, ideally you want daily uploads, and I don't want to saturate it. I know a lot of people are doing a lot of Eagles film stuff now. But I want to try and keep it fresh and find new ways to shake it up. So there will be more. I'm never going to dip away from film stuff. There will always be Eagles film stuff. But at that same time, we always want to expand and we want to have live streams and like watch-alongs. And like if the Eagles don't make the Super Bowl, there'll be a watch-along for the Super Bowl. Like that sort of thing. That's the energy we're looking at. I want to see our Sega Outside do more. In the last Madden, this draft club was a 95. Jesus. See, I just play. I play FIFA. I'm a FIFA Ultimate Team guy. I'm about to go. Oh, my weekend league's ruined. Oh no. Oh, I had 8 games left on weekend league, and I was so. Oh, that's annoyed me. It hasn't annoyed me. I'd much rather be doing this. LJ, you and the rest of the team had a great 2019. I'm sure. I really hope so, man. Thank you so much, Duck. Hopefully, yeah, bigger and up. You know, onwards and upwards, and we keep moving forward. That's always the aim. We'll see. I'm just very grateful that every day we come back and we get to do this. Like it's mad. Sometimes it hits you. Like normally streams like this, it hits you where you're like, oh my god, this is what I do every day. It's a bizarre feeling because it just becomes routine and like that's life. It's a really bizarre spot to be in, but I love every second of it and I would not change it for the world. No Pro Sports says, how about a video? What you would do if you were Howie for a day? Oh, good shout. Yeah, there'll be stuff like that. There'll be a lot of stuff like that and like how or rebuilding the Eagles or like Eagles top 5 offseason targets or free agent targets. Mock drafts, they burnt my MacBook alive last year trying to render those things with the graphics on. They'll be back, so I might need a new MacBook and we'll go from there. If Carson's our Jon Snow, then DJ's coming back. It's like, I love that. Oh, that's amazing. That if I could pin that in the chat, I would. Can I do that? Can I pin that in the chat? I can't. Damn it. I would. That is... what an analogy. That is... oh, that deserves a round of applause. I love that, Jay Fizzle. But yeah, we've got a lot coming up, guys, so don't you worry. 10 minutes until we call it a day. If there's anything you want to see or that I can do now, give me a shout. We'll make it happen. I have got the Clayton Thorson song on standby if you do want to see the Clayton Thorson song. Do you know what? It is the end of 2019. We've done a whole year. All right? The Clayton Thorson song was one of the highlights. When we were doing the live streams for preseason, the Clayton Thorson song was one of the key bits. It was what should I say? A centerpiece, a cornerstone is what I'm looking for of what we built that year. And it's only right that we end 2019 with a Clayton Thorson song, especially considering the Eagles beat the Cowboys and the Cowboys are now out of the playoffs. Surely it's only right that we play the Clayton Thorson song one more time for old time. I love the reaction it gets. Like straight away, no one wants to hear it. It's absolutely... I love it. It's my favourite thing. I love it so much. Maybe I won't. All right, you get to choose. Captain Cravon at Christmas or Clayton Thorson. You get to choose. You get to choose. All right, Steve wants it one last time. What? I mean, it's one last time. It's the Clayton Thorson song. It's been an integral part of the brand, right? We have to do something. Da, 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 da. I mean, right? Right? That has to be one last goodbye. If not, we'll do the Captain Cravon one. Foles not even on Baker Mayfield level. Let's not go too far. Foles has won a Super Bowl and Baker Mayfield has won an ad. He had an advert once where he's in the toilet cleaning. That happened. Jay Fisher wants Clayton. He doesn't want the Captain Cravon song. That's upsetting. That's annoying. I put a lot of effort into that Captain Cravon song. It took me about 6 seconds to write, I'll have you know. And none of you want it. That is very, very upsetting. Clayton, you'll love him, I don't. So it'll get in your head. All right, we might have to get it. Okay, for old time's sake, for one last time, whether you hate Clayton Thorson or you just appreciate how awful he was in the preseason, we might have to get it for the brand. It wouldn't be a live stream without one. So guys, for one last time in 2019, I give to you my finest creation, the Clayton Thorson song. Clayton Thorson, da 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 da. Clayton Thorson, da 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 da. Clayton Thorson, da 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 da. Clayton Thorson, da 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 da. Clayton Thorson. And there you go. I really hope you enjoyed that because we may not bring it out again. That's our big goodbye. That is our big goodbye to Clayton Thorson. And all of the iconic moments he gave us in an Eagles uniform, like that one touchdown pass to Greg Ward Jr. and that one touchdown pass to Greg Ward Jr. It's been an emotional ride. And now he's in Dallas, not in the playoffs, sitting at home, playing Fortnite on a Nintendo Switch. And that's the content we like to see. But guys, 7 minutes of the stream left. This is virtually like a 3-hour stream. My God. David's no. Yes, believe it or not, Lorenzen, Clayton Thorson is actually on the Dallas Cowboys, which makes this even more ironic, even more. Just, it's amazing. You love to see it. You love to see the Clayton Thorson brand thriving. It's what we come for. This is worse than your taste in pizza. Hey, right, my taste in if you don't put garlic mayo on pizza, it's not happening. All right, I'm not buying it. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to me, and I'm disappointed in it. Hey, the other song is class. All right, we've had Last Christmas. That was a banger. That slapped. I should just make an album, like a compilation. I'll make a SoundCloud and I can promote that over any tweet that just sort of bangs, and we'll do that instead. You've never seen that. Now you can never unsee it. Oh, yeah, if this is your first time seeing a Clayton Thorson song, very sorry about that. Didn't mean to bestow that upon you. Pedro Rosa, how about them Eagles? I love it. They're going to the playoffs. Everything's good in life. What more can we be said? What more can be said? It's just a good time to be alive. Eagles in the playoffs, overcoming all the adversity. I think we've spoken about everything about this team from this win so much already that there's nothing more that needs to be said at this point other than go Birds. And that Doug Pederson might be the best coach in the NFL, or one of them. I actually want to try garlic mayo on pizza. Oh, it's incredible. Only the right pizza though. Like I have it on margarita sometimes if I'm feeling inventive. If I'm going to treat myself, be a bit bougie, I'll have margarita pizza, sprinkle a bit of garlic mayo around. But it's got to be like from a takeaway, like a fast food place where they get the big tube and they just spray it round in little circles because it's so good. And this is why I have a beer belly and I need to go to the gym next year. That's my New Year's resolution, which is going to go for about a week. We'll see. But also, right, guys, 5 minutes to go. I still can't believe you are all here. So I'm going to get soppy one more time, aren't I? That it is now, for me, 4 a.m. Okay, please go on tour. I'll come play your music live. Dude, I was meant to come in Philly for December for a Christmas party. And the venue I had, I won't name them because one of you probably worked there, bailed on me twice. I was going to rent a whole venue for everyone at PSN to finally meet each other and have a big meal. And they bailed once. And then we're like, oh, we're going to work on like an influencer program with you. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. Me and my 12 Instagram followers. I love that. And they went, literally, December 12th. Yeah, we're not going to do that again now. So I by that time, flights were so expensive, I couldn't really come. I'll be out in the new year, and I'm going to get very soppy and cry and hug all of you, and it'll be amazing. All right, Leroy Scott. I'm not the only Leroy here. We've got Leroy Scott, Leroy Jenkins, excuse me. Garlic mayo, duck. I will ban you from this channel if you continue to speak such blasphemy. How dare... I'm kidding. NFC 9 times since 2000. 9 times. That's good. I mean, to be fair, the Eagles catch a lot of stick, but that's good. That's a really good record, isn't it? I listened to LJ on that one, tried it, shouldn't have. If that's not a motto for my life, I don't know what is. Listen to LJ, told me to do this, and shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done it. That sums up everyone that knows me ever, I think. But right, seriously though, while you're all here, just thank you for everything. I know I've said it like 6 times already today, but it's unbelievable that 265 of you are here at 4 a.m. my time, which is like 11 p.m. your time, during a primetime game. You'd rather be here talking the Eagles. It's the most humbling thing imaginable. And thing is, like I always say this, but when I first started this stream, I did pre-season 2018. And there were 4 people that were in that stream the entire time. One was me, my own view. One was my ex that I've just cut off. See, Kiri, I told you I could do it. The other one was Chad from Burger and Bangers. If you want a Facebook group, go there. Amazing group of Eagles fans. And I think the other one was like a subscriber. Fast forward a year, we've now got a year and a half. We've got 263 of you in a post-game stream. Like, I can't put into words how much I mean. And Bleeding Green, that was the worst time to donate, because I'm literally just going to cry now. Like, thank you so much for that donation, man. That is extremely kind of you. You really didn't have to do that. I hope you have a happy new year, and just behave very sensibly, and we'll see you for the playoffs. But seriously, man, that is extremely kind of you, and it means a lot. But yeah, genuinely, like, I had no idea it would get to this point. Like, all I've done is just grind every day, have tunnel vision, and block out outside noise, and you forget the doubt, you forget people putting you down, and all the negatives. Like, how are we forgetting that I lost my Twitter account this year? That had 5,000 followers. A lot of them were like the verified accounts or people in the industry or players that suddenly don't follow the new account. That was washed away. I forgot that because so much happened this year. Like, 2019 has been the biggest roller coaster that is, I guess, tore me down and built me back up again. Like, I like the Eagles in a way, I suppose. Like, all I ever wanted to do was do this full time. I hit that. That was my aim. I had to kind of fall down to refine myself and go up. So, again, I say it every week, but you guys allow me to be me for like 3 hours on a Sunday night and just have a laugh and have fun and sing Atomic Kitten about Captain Cravon, all right? This is the life I live now, and I wouldn't change any of it. Like, the Eagles have the best fans on the planet, but we have got the best selection of that group. Like, the Philly Sports Network community, it's so supportive, it's funny, you're always in the streams, you're so damn kind. I love every single one of you, and I mean that. And I hope you all have the happiest of New Year's. I hope you have the greatest of Christmases, and Santa treated you all, and that you get to go on and just achieve everything you could want in 2020. I am so thankful for every single one of you, and I promise you that you get 100% every day. All right, everything I've got every day, whether it's articles on phillysportsnetwork.com or videos here, you've got everything that I could give. Like, everything we do at PSN is for you guys. You can see I'm trying not to fill up now, but I love it with everything I've got, and I just could not be happier with, I guess, how far we've come. And that's all thanks to you guys. So, listen, enjoy the Eagles win. Thank you for sharing in this with me, because I really didn't think that many of you would come, especially when there's a game on the line. I am so damn proud of all of you for being in this community, and just have a happy new year. From myself, Liam Jenkins. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Liam Jenkins PSN. I'll see you soon. Go Birds. We'll see you next week for the playoff post-game stream. See you soon.
I feel like my heart is beating